Would you walk away this time? Do you realize, do you recognize it's never over? Or would you walk away this time? 'Cause we all face the fire as we search for the light in the dead of the night. Will you rise above the days to come? Will it be enough? Or will you walk away this time? Look to your left, to your right, there by your side. 'Cause we all face the fire as we search for the light in the dead of the night. Feel that rush, feel the time. Can you feel this? You found change. Only yourselves are here again. If you had it all, but you looked the fall in the eye, could you walk away this time? Do you realize, do you recognize it's never over?
Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. Today we're going to be watching the two SRG teams battle out in Division 2, SRG Hydra and SRG Chimaera, which is going to be a very interesting game. I'm co-casting today with Karen. Karen, would like to say hi?
Howdy everyone, I'm glad to be here once again. You're slowly becoming my sort of go-to caster duo. At least that's what we've seen. Of course, Kachka's still on the holidays. We're gonna see how we're gonna be slotted after he returns. I'm a bit unsure what's showing on the stream. Okay, there we are, because we have been in the champ select for a while. We don't really get to talk about these teams too much. However, something that you all should keep in mind is that, well, both these teams are coming from the Wintersplit. Neither of them have been really able to touch the top leagues right now. They haven't really been able to show up in the playoffs too much. However, Chimaera, they managed to at least get there. So, well, are they going to be able to show us that they can play with their new mid laner Badger on Drugs, which, by the way, is an amazing name? Well, we're going to have to see.
Yeah, you know, the first two bans being locked out here, we are going to see in the first draft of bans Xerath and Zoe for the side of Hydra, and Chimaera banning out Jarvan and Rise. Would you like to talk about these two bans a bit and why they might have banned these champions?
So Chimaera, they are paying a lot of respect to Braveheart and Vanborg, and I feel like that can be sort of the go-to style that you have when you're playing with a new player. Badger on Drugs hasn't actually played a game in SRG with this lineup just yet, so they're taking some of the picks away from his adversaries. Make sure that they can have somewhat of a good matchup in that mid lane to help him sort of get used to the whole environment. However, let's move out of the ban phase. Now we're at the picks. Lucian picked up for the side of Hydra. Rekit's, of course, one of the main core Lucian players out there. Hasn't been able to play with Hydra too much, but he's gonna show us today if he can be the most dominant lane carry today.
Yeah, and you know, Nazik picking up that Vladimir, which, you know, as we've seen throughout all of the divisions in this split, has been an absolute core pick for all of these teams. Vladimir just being all over the place, just everywhere, and definitely showing why with a very definite positive win rate from the games that I've seen anyway. I'm guessing same goes for you as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've casted them together, so it would be a bit weird not seeing them. However, something that I want to draw the viewers' attention to is this Braum pick, because Godquai is known for this very champion. He has played so many games on it in the Wintersplit, so I'm really excited to see him back on his signature pick, even though that champion himself isn't precisely the biggest playmaker, he can still set up for these very crucial engages come mid-game when he actually groups up with his team.
Then, oh, there we go. There's the Orianna pick, which is a really nice pick, I think, especially synergizing very well with the Braum here. And they are going to, I think, have to look to take quite a engaging jungler to follow up with the Orianna and Braum. But, you know, a huge pick in the side for Badger on drugs. Chimaera, really, I think, going for that sort of team fighting mid-game comp from what we've seen so far. We're also going to see the Rek'Sai ban, Rek'Sai being a very popular champion in the split.
Yeah, especially that Rek'Sai is so strong right now in the current meta. In that early game, one of the most strong early game junglers that we have seen. I for a second thought that the enthusiasm was a bit ironic, because whenever I see Orianna, I don't necessarily get met with that reaction, because it's a very, very safe champion. But as you rightfully pointed out, since you are going to have that Braum, I said that he's not the biggest playmaker. However, as soon as he has his flash up, he can just flash into people and secure a Glacial Fissure. And when you combine that with a quick shockwave, that is such a long CC duration that should be able to allow for Hivian, who's by the way going to be playing in that AD carry role. Hivian actually has a very interesting story, because he was playing for Chimaera in the Wintersplit. However, he was the main mid laner. Then he subbed himself out voluntarily, and now he is subbing for, well, anyone who's going to be playing on the Chimaera, and KZZ isn't here, so that can sway the tides of favor for the side of Hydra. We're gonna have to see.
Yeah, Hivian, I have casted with Hivian before. With our first game casting with SRG, I was casting with Hivian to do the Division 1 finals, actually. Weird first game to cast, but, you know, it is what it is. And, you know, he seemed like a pretty genuine guy, and I'm actually looking forward to watching him here. I did send him a message beforehand asking for those big plays. We are going to see the Skarner pick locked in, which, like I said, they did need someone to follow up on the Orianna. I think Skarner is a really, really good champion to do so. Yeah,
you wanted some engage, and you're getting it in the form of that lovely Scorpion. On the other side, however, we are seeing a very similar composition. The thing is, the side of Chimaera haven't actually locked themselves an AD carry just yet, unless we're going to be seeing a Vladimir being slotted into that position. It's a bit of an off-meta pick right now, however, we have seen it pull through. Now this Kha'Zix, ooh, Benja actually hasn't seen a game in SRG just yet, and is going to be on a carry jungler. Very ballsy of him to do so.
It doesn't fit amazingly into the composition, but I really like it. It's an exciting pick, it's something different. We've not actually seen Kha'Zix in this split so far, so, you know, seeing Kha'Zix now has really sort of brightened up this game. It's given this game a lot more of a kick with having that assassin in the jungle. We've not seen many assassin junglers really picked recently overall. It's mainly been the sort of team fighting, really sort of strong junglers, but there the Ezreal pick also coming in for Chimaera for Hivian.
And Ezreal, one of those signature AD carries. Right now you can pick him into any sort of composition, and it is likely going to work out for you. Now note that right now Hivian is still keeping that teleport locked in for himself, so looks like they are just going to be wanting to farm. An interesting itemization choice, given that they are going to be going against Rek'Its on Lucian and World Xpila on that Alistar, which can be a very aggressive lane. The thing is, when you pair up Alistar with any kind of AD carry, it turns into a bit of a fiesta for this Alistar, because, well, he's really crap before level 6, before he gets those tanky stats. He gets outpoked by everyone, but given that you're going to be playing and laning with a Lucian, someone who has a lot of damage in the early game, it can help bridge over this lack of sustainability on the side of Alistar and even force pressure onto Hivian and Godquai.
Yeah, we are seeing this, obviously, Ezreal taking that TP to give that more lane presence. What we're seeing from every Ezreal nowadays is basically taking that TP.
Yeah.
Some ADCs, other ADCs can, but we see it more so from the Ezreal. You know, some of this being pretty standard, honestly. Victor taking the TP, which was fully expected. It's probably the only other different one from this, but also, you know, this being a slight rivalry for these for for these two teams. You know, it's two SRG teams going at it. I'm guessing there's going to be the small bit of rivalry. We're going to see maybe a bit of flair, a little bit of passion into this game.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be really, really interesting to watch, and I'm really looking forward to actually seeing how this pans out.
And speaking of passion, already both these teams have locked themselves the compositions, as you were saying. Victor, of course, one of those more scaling champions, not the one that you will likely see much success with in the early game. However, the thing that I'm looking at is going to be also Braveheart and Benja playing together in that top lane. As soon as Kennen gets access to the Slicing Maelstrom, he can do so much with his jungler. Because Vladimir, sure, he does have the blood pool, but after he expends that, he can only flash away. And as soon as the laning phase is going even for him, which is going to happen given that Kennen doesn't have any mana issues and can also safely farm from the distance given that he has such good range, it's going to allow for him to just set up any ganking opportunity come level 6 together with his Kha'Zix, and it can come into a really, really terrifying snowball come even something like 10 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. We saw actually yesterday in a game with Kennen, we saw it was Division 3, I think, and Kennen was such a big play, being able to just keep 3 members of a team at bay using the ultimate behind lines, which then cut off the team completely, making it easy for a 4 versus 2 on the other side of the team fight. So Kennen being one of those really strong team fighting picks, but against a team with, that Vladimir, with that Ezreal, and, the Brawl, just everything about that team. Right now, it basically just says to me that this Kennen won't be able to do that. Goes in, or with a Braum there, he's going to get stunned. He goes in with the Skarner there, he's going to get taken away by that Skarner. So he won't be able to get these massive plays off unless he times it perfectly, which is, I think, what we're going to see from Braveheart in this game.
And the thing that he can do to sort of avoid all of that CC that you're talking about is either, as you said, timing it perfectly or just taking stopwatch, which I feel like has to be a rush for Kennen this time around. Of course, we are likely going to be seeing him go for a Hextech Protobelt first item and then going for the stopwatch or... Wait, what's the... Okay, so yeah, it's Hourglass and then the stopwatch, right? Yeah, because I actually tend to refer to them both as stopwatch. Regardless, it has to be an important pickup for Kennen because, as you said, so much CC on the side of Chimaera, but if he uses the Slicing Maelstrom and flashes or just runs into the lineup of Chimaera and then he goes golden, well, that's Kennen's job already done for him. He doesn't need to do anything in a team fight, he just has to be that utility factor, because then you allow for Victor to chunk through the front line and Lucian to try and assassinate the backline together with Kha'Zix. And as soon as you take away that Orianna or Ezreal from the backline of Chimaera, in the mid lane, you're going to be lacking any sensible amount of damage until late game where Vladimir starts popping off.
Yeah, the Vladimir damage can be absurd once it hits that late game. We've all witnessed it at one point, and with the healing and everything, it almost makes him impossible to kill and can almost solo carry games in a lot of situations. So yeah, I agree with you, and I think when this hits late game, I think Chimaera can definitely take this game away. I think they have overall, I think they have the better team fight with the Orianna, with the Skarner, with the big AoE damage that they have from the Vladimir as well. But it is whether or not, again, like you said, this Lucian can get away and just blow up the team and get a good early lead with the Kha'Zix maybe to try and end this game faster than Chimaera can try and hold this to the late game.
And another thing, right, because I've said that Kha'Zix can snowball really goddamn well in that top lane together with his jungler, but he's not the only lane that can get himself far enough ahead. We can also be looking at Wreckage once again. This AD carry is insane. We have seen him perform a couple of times, however, every single time it was to great degree. Now, we are going to be entering the Summoner's Rift as both teams prepare for some shenanigans. Hydra going for a cheeky little invade, or well, just a death brush really, trying to bait out this Ezreal's Mystic Shot, because, well, if he takes it first, as every Ezreal does, he tries to go for some Klepto stacks, they can just jump at him, and he doesn't have a way to run away, so it can be something that they can utilize to try and exploit this poor blonde boy.
Yeah, we are seeing a 5-man grouped onto that bot lane, which, honestly, I don't see where they're going with that one. I don't think they can go for an invade. Alistair isn't the best sort of invading support because he's not able to get in range to use that Q. But maybe they might try and do something perhaps with like the Victor's stun, with the slow with that or something. But no, they are just going to back off. Would you think that was more of for a counter invade, potentially?
So I don't think that the side of Chimaera really wanted to invade, simply because Braum doesn't really provide the utility. Of course, he does have access to his passive from level 1, and together with the Wintersplit, he can try and make something happen. But it's not the most reliable of ways to invade, and so Chimaera, they didn't really go for too much. Now, Pixel Brush ward has been set up by the side on the red side. How quaint, so make sure that Benja will not be unspotted moving into his jungle, which is really important because, once again, we have to keep in mind that this is an assassin in the jungle. You pointed it out, we haven't been seeing assassins in the jungle be played too much, especially not in our league, as more so the tanky junglers have been taken over. But, yeah.
Yeah, and obviously the Rek'Sai pick as well has been really big, so the Bruiser type of jungles as well. And especially, I think it's more generally the engaging junglers that they kind of want to be picking at this level of play, especially because at this level, you know, you're mainly looking at the jungler to be the one doing the engaging. You want to look for more of those ganking potentials, etc. And you know, Lucian getting a little bit of damage off Hivian there. But yeah, like I think they are just looking for more of the engaged junglers, and then Kha'Zix has a completely different change to that.
And especially that Benja, he's the substitute. He's the substitute jungler for the side of Hydra. Like, this guy, he just comes in his first game of, well, the Serenity Gaming overall, and he just goes for such an aggressive build. We just saw him missing a Scuttlecram with his W, but that's okay, you know, it doesn't matter.
It died anyway. We'll see, engaged from Braveheart, Nizik's going to do a lot more damage to Braveheart than Braveheart probably thought he was going to do.
Oh yeah.
Almost coming out there with the same, but I think that's definitely going to go in the favour of Nizik because he has that massive amount of healing as Vladimir does in an early game. So you don't want to be taking even trades against the Vladimir, you know? He's just going to heal up the entire trade afterwards. There's really no point in going for those sort of players.
Well, the thing is, when you're playing a cannon, you sort of have to be going for trades because you're always reliant on getting those potions off of your Kleptos. So, if you're not getting anything out of that rune, you're essentially being useless and you're going to let this Vladimir poke you out. You also want to be going for those trades because you want to get more money. You want to get that Protobelt rush as soon as you can. You want to be able to access the stopwatch as soon as you can because then you can be going for those ballsy teleport plays as well as avoid some ganks that are likely going to come from Prompo entering that top lane. So, makes sense. The Braveheart is going for so many of these trades, even though it's likely not going to result into a kill, as you said.
Yeah, and you know, I guess you are right. I completely forgot that cannon take Cryptomancy at this point. I've just been taken back straight to season 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
That, you know, his cannon top was more of just a burst mage, but yeah, we are seeing maybe Skarner move into this top lane. You know, Prompo looking to make a small play potentially onto Braveheart. There isn't anything that's going to catch him out. It looks like there could be a play. As well as this, we are maybe going to see Benja make a play bot lane. Prompo not really being able to make much there, but Benja is around that bot lane. Do you think he's going to try and make a play?
He can definitely try to make something happen. He does have level 4, so he doesn't have access to the invisibility. I'm actually not sure how they changed it, because I remember that they reworked him, and I'll be honest, I completely forgot how that works, but...
There we go, potentially seeing maybe Prompo make a play into this mid lane here, but the rework does work. I think he can go invisible. You know, they did change
after level 6, right?
Yeah, it's after level 6, yeah. After level 6, his ultimate is the invisibility.
Okay, good.
And if he upgrades that ultimate, whenever he walks into a bush, he gets invisibility. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, we're on the same page. So good. So right now, his jungle pathing is pretty difficult to achieve. Given that Hydra are overextending pretty heavily, he cannot really find a gank in that bot lane, and in the top lane it could be a bit more possible, but given that Kennen hasn't hit that Maelstrom just yet, it's very difficult for him to find anything to happen, and so he's just resulting into a farming status.
A small trade going into the top lane. Nizik's going to get Braveheart quite low. Braveheart is doing a good trade backwards, but Nizik about to get that big Q off, which would take the fight generally into his favour. He might be able to pop it off just at the end. Braveheart just being able to get away. But like you were saying, that sizing Maelstrom can be detrimental to Nizik. It can really cause him to lose the fight because that stun's able to get off so fast, and the amount of damage that Braveheart's able to get off from that might end up spelling death for Nizik because he might not be able to get the healing up. He might not be able to pull early enough in these fights. We are seeing Braveheart going for the engage. Like I was saying, he's not popped the Slicing Maelstrom yet. And then we got Nizik popping the ultimate, the Slicing Maelstrom coming down. Braveheart getting very low, forced to flash away, surviving on
oh my god,
6 HP. He's surviving on having to use the flash to get away. Nizik is going to come out on top of that one, going to be able to push in these waves. Got a flash and the Slicing Maelstrom from the Braveheart there.
And that is just such an unfortunate engage because he did go forward, but he missed all of his abilities to try and get the stun off. So in the end, it was a quick trade in favor of Nizik. Now we are looking at the map. We're seeing the Infernal Drain being done very, very quickly by our lovely Buggy in the jungle, in the case of Benja. Getting this Infernal Drake is actually really goddamn good for the side of Hydra because look at their composition. They have so much burst. They just want to have even more damage inside of it. Victor is going to become such a big threat. Cannon, the same thing. Wreckit on this Lucian, able to burst anyone down, and this Drake allows them to do so much more, and they're utilizing the bot lane pressure that they've been able to achieve completely perfectly.
Yeah, especially, and you know, obviously the plate. I think, did that plate fall down the bot lane? I can't really just check. Okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah, the plate did fall down the bot lane. Yeah, and you know, actually, it's going to give them a lot of gold, and it's going to give them that little bit that I think they needed. But however, you know, Israel with Kleptomancy, Hivian is probably going to be matching their gold, honestly, because obviously he's got that side stack of gold there, which he is going to end up using. But you know, that's given him the little bit of gold. He's going to back and get a Sheen and a Tear of the Goddess at only 7 minutes, which is, I think, pretty good.
This is pretty crazy. I'm actually really... I feel like right now, Hivian should be very happy with his itemization because he's just able to get everything that he could ever want. Something that we have seen become a lot more prevalent in the current meta for Ezreals is that they actually put away the Tear of the Goddess as a rush item, and they instead go for just a Sheen. I'm holding my breath in case of that top lane. Nizik just getting chunked, but... To return to my point, after the changes that were made to Tear of the Goddess, which makes it a unique item, you cannot now build 2 tier items, and so, given that Ezreal is now more so of a mid-game AD carry, they're just going for purely a Sheen, but regardless of that, Hivian is going to be able to take both of these items, and he's going to be very happy with so much mana that he's going to be able to accrue from those 2 items.
Yeah, definitely. Hivian is actually going to do so much damage. As we've seen, Ezreal's can do a lot of damage with that Sheen, but Benja now hitting that level 6. You know, it's gonna be pretty good. We might be able to see a few plays with, you know, the invisibility, but I'm not 100% sure. I am not sure if Benja's going to be going for that many ganks, actually. I think he might look for more of these sort of invade plays. We always see Pompo jumping onto Benja. Benja's going to get stunned. However, like I said, the damage coming out onto Pompo. Badger on drugs and Nizik moving down.
It's such
the ultimate and the ultimate, both ultimates actually onto Benja there. Benja's going to
oh my god, Benja!
Using the invisibility really, really well. They're able to get away from that popping flash and popping the E to get back over the wall.
Oh my god.
Really, really, really good, actually. We did see the Shockwave pull Benja more towards Prompo, who also, at the same time, did have... Oh, there we go. We are actually... Okay, right. Did see the... what's it called? I forgot the name of it. Something like Slice or Penetrate or something like that. Basically, you know, the ultimate from Prompo,
yes,
which was able to pull him back. We did see the culling from Rexit into the bot lane there to try and get some damage onto the Brawl. The shield didn't actually block that much damage. I thought it would have done a lot less, but then it engaged onto Nizik. Braveheart doing a bit of damage onto Nizik. But Nizik does have that empowered Q is going to heal a lot of damage with that.
Braveheart is just so terrifying right now on this skin, and of course he does have that Hextech Revolver, which means that he's just able to deal so much goddamn damage, as it is one of the best composite items in the game because of the stats that it simply gives you. So he's able to get so many of these good traits over onto Vladimir because he, in comparison, has the inferior itemization. He's building Fiendish Codex first and a Kindle Gem. I'm a bit unsure of what he's going for right now.
I think he's going for the... I think with the Kindle Gem is going to go into the Spirit Visage, which is definitely the correct one to go in.
I feel like the Kindle Gem can be built into a Hextech Protobelt, but I'm unsure why he would be building Fiendish Codex. I mean, I do get the idea that he wants to be going for extra cooldown reduction. I'm a bit unsure. We'll have to see how that situation develops. But regardless of that, a 30 CS deficit in the top lane, so much pressure put down by Braveheart, which means that Benja can get a free Rift Herald. So many nice macro plays from Hydra coming out right now.
Also, in the top lane, we see Prompo jumping through onto Braveheart. Braveheart's going to try and get away. The ultimate pop from Nizik. Braveheart's going to take a lot of damage. Prompo's going to be there as well. The slicing Maelstrom followed by the splice onto Braveheart. Braveheart's going to be stunned.
Oh my god.
Put back, and there we go. Prompo's going to take a bit of damage. Braveheart's going to be able to get away from that one. The slicing Maelstrom saving him just a bit there.
And the flash was available for cannons, which meant that there was nothing that Prompo could really do to try and kill this poor old squirrel. So much damage. I mean, it was very, very nice of Braveheart to go and just turn the fight around, make sure that he gets the stun off on his pursuers, because then they got stunned up and they couldn't follow him anymore. So, nicely played. Now, the rest of the map. Mid lane is a farming lane. We haven't really given it much love, but, I mean, it's kind of accepted at this point that nothing is going to happen there. But I'm going to be looking at mostly the mid lane in terms of how can they play around with their junglers. We haven't seen Prompo do too much, because now he has level 6. He can get so many of these ganks off, and he needs to start doing that, because right now, Benja is just running all over him in the terms of jungling.
Yeah, and Benja obviously taking now the second dragon, which is going to be incredible. A mountain dragon is going to be really, really useful. It's going to now allow this bot lane to start pushing more of these plates. They've got one already, they've almost got a second, and they're going to try to get more of these plates now, which is going to be really, really bad for the side of Chimaera.
Oh, I
and
like
then
this.
the being popped in the mid lane, which is going to be able to finish off the tower, almost definitely. There we go, first tower going down for Hydra, and maybe even a small engage in this mid lane. Benja's there, he's probably got the damage off at this point. He's got the warrior enchantment, plus that small longsword that he's got. The Rift Herald isn't going to be able to get more damage on the tower, but Hydra are going to disengage from that fight.
In the end, Orianna has the superior range, so she's able to just ward them off, but that mid lane turret taken down. I like it so much because Victor has been able to push this Orianna under her turret, and that allowed him to just chunk the mid lane. Turret now, Nizik getting engaged upon.
There we go, a massive engage. Braveheart popping the slicing Maelstrom onto Nizik, but Nizik is going to use the pull to get away from that one. A very even trade, but like he said earlier with the Kleptomancy gold, it might be a little bit different. Benja's there. They know Nizik doesn't have the pull. Benja's going to jump in. Braveheart's going to be there. And
there we are.
Blood going to Benja.
And the first blood at 13 minutes goes to the assassin jungler pulled out by the substitute for Hydra. Really glad to see that. So many of these gold turret plates are also going to be coming down. And right now, just one kill, but the gold lead is already almost at 3,000.
He's going to start running on this. He's popping the Predator boots. He's jumping straight onto Braveheart, going to slice Braveheart straight back.
The turret can't focus him.
But there we go. Yeah, the turret's going to focus Braveheart. Braveheart's going to fall down. Benja's
okay.
The turret, and then a double kill going down to Prompo. But Benja is able to pick up the kill, and I think that's almost I'd say value for the side of Hydra. They were able to pick up the extra couple plates for that, and yeah, Benja 2 kills. One of them being a first blood, was going to give him such a big lead, and dealing with a fed Kha'Zix can be awful, and is one of the hardest junglers to deal with because of the amount of damage that he can produce. And we're going to see a small engage here. Oh, okay, the nice flash away from the shockwave from Van Borgen there, just to stay alive for that a little bit longer. But like I was saying, you know, giving Benja these kills is going to give him such a massive lead. He's got so much map pressure being a Kha'Zix, and so much damage that he's going to be able to maybe even carry this game, especially for the next 10 minutes. He's going to be doing so much damage. He's built that phage, and he's got the warrior now.
And right now, he's also going to be unstoppable because there are little ways to really shut him down in a team fight unless Prompo decides to completely focus only this poor Kha'Zix. Unless...
There we go, Badger jumping straight in onto Van Borg. Van Borg's going to take a lot of damage, he's going to pop the ultimate. There we go, Prompo doesn't really have to do much. Badger's going to be able to pick up the kill.
And this is what I meant when I was talking about the mid lane and jungle synergy. Badger and Prompo, they have so much combined CC. Badger, see, that kill on Victor came through without even using the shockwave. Right? That is just so much CC by the Skarner alone. If you pair it up with Orianna, she still has a lot of damage, as she does have that Lost Chapter and the Blasting one finished, which gives you a surprising amount of damage.
Jumping onto Braveheart here. Braveheart's going to pop the Slicing Maelstrom. He's going to stun Prompo. Naz is going to use the pull to get away. Nizik being a bit low. Slicing Maelstrom's going to go down, but then we go Braveheart jumping onto this. A DP coming in from Van Borgen. Prompo's going to be forced to back off. Another Benja coming in as well.
Oh my god!
Damage going to jump under the tower. Tower's going to fall down to the minions. They look like they're going to go further for the chase here. Benja's got that speed, and so does Braveheart. He's going to try and catch up, maybe try and get a stun off. Benja's there as well. The Predator boots are popped. Prompo might go for a bit more of an engage. They do have Badger on drugs coming back into this. Benja there, he looks like he might be trying to jump onto Prompo. Prompo's going to pop the splice onto Van Morgan. Van Morgan's going to take into the tower. Nice going to go onto Van Morgan. Benja's there as well. They're going to put the Badger with Jugs. The massive amount of damage going out from Benja. He's trying to get the kill onto Badger. All three members of Chimaera very low into this tower. Benja's going to go look around the side here, try and pick up a kill. Isaac's going to take
oh my god, Braveheart!
Using the Proto Belt to get the kill there and maybe get a bit more damage onto this turret.
This was such nice rotation. In the meantime, bot lane Hivian almost got chunked completely down by that culling, just trying to trade back right now. But such nice cross-map plays from the side of Hydra. Van Borg, he overextends and then gets pulled under the enemy turret by Prombo, but still, he makes sure that they can get those kills and another turret in the top lane once again. So much pressure being created by Braveheart and the rest of his team now as well. Rekit and Uldig Spieler, they're now going to be able to come through to the mid game.
We see the replay here. We saw Prompo did use the splice to pull Van Borgen into the team, which did end up giving Isaac a really nice kill, but Badger on Drugs really did overextend, and Benja was able to punish that. Popping the barrier, really nice timing, save them there. All really low under the tower. Benja was able to move around, force Isaac back under the tower, giving Braveheart that nice little opening to use the Proto Belt to get under the tower and get the kill. And then we're going to engage into the bot lane. Rexy's going to be forced to flash away with the Igniter TP coming down from Braveheart. Braveheart, and also engage into the jungle. Benja jumping onto Badger on Drugs. There we go. There's a kill going to be picked up for the team there. Benja also getting a kill Benja getting a kill onto Badger, and Hivian getting taken down by Braveheart. Three members in the bot lane. Braveheart might look to go further onto this one though.
And looks like they might be keep on fighting. Right now the control ward has been taken away from that bush, so right now the side of Chimaera do not know where anyone is on the side of Hydra. They're just clearing out all of this vision from the hands of Chimaera. Another Drake now being spawned and taken by Benja. Perfect jungle control right now on this Kha'Zix, and the bot lane turret is going to be the next objective to fall as there is no one to defend it. Chimaera, they just give this one up, unfortunately, saying that, well, we're just going to be wanting to play defensively. And sure, they still do have the outscaling part of their kit right now, but, well, that gold lead is starting to widen and extend ever so quicker.
Yeah, you know, they've got the CS leads in almost every single lane at this point, apart from the mid lane. They've got 4 towers, and they've got 2 mountains and an Infernal Dragon. And having 3 kills on Benja, with how much map control he's been showing this game, is going to be terrifying for Chimaera.
Yeah.
And it's going to put them in a situation where they can't really be anywhere that isn't either outside their tower or very close to their tower, because Benjo will capitalize on that. And like you were saying, with this gold lead being so far ahead, it's going to create such a big gap. I don't think Chimaera are going to be able to close that just fast enough to be able to stay in this game.
And right now we are getting the detailed vision department on both sides. Such little vision from Hydra. The entirety of the jungle is completely lit up like a Christmas tree for Hydra, and it is just so difficult for, well, the red side team, what am I trying to say, to really do anything, because the side of Hydra are just so dominant, so many kills, such goal lead, as you said, and they're again playing perfectly around that. They're trying to pressure this mid lane turret now, essentially the textbook play they could make. Now, Baron buff will be spawning in 50 seconds, so they're going to try and chunk these objectives down even further. Isaac is still in the bot lane. He's running over to mid. That's an interesting choice instead of just backing. Minion wave will just die. And now Hydra, they can look to pressure around the side lanes as well.
Yeah, obviously they've got that 5 turret advantage, and with 2 mountain drakes, they can probably look to push this bot tower as well. I think they do have a slow push going on there with the waves. We are seeing, I think we might be seeing a rotation somewhere. You know, like you're talking about the vision. You know, just then we did just get a nice little splice of Chimaera's vision around the map, and they cannot see anybody with the wards that they have. Like, nothing is being able to be seen
once
there.
Again, thank you, Joe, Papa Joe, bless you. Now, still, they have some vision. Not too much, but they do have at least that bottom quadrant of the map completely warded down, and that's because Isaac was able to run there and clear some of the vision out. However, the top side, it's still completely dark. Now they're trying to reclaim something, and it's really important because now the Baron buff is spawned. However, right now what I'm expecting for the blue side to do is just group together, try and pressure this Baron buff, make sure that Chimaera do not have any vision on it, and then try and take it, because after that, the game can be essentially over, because while you do not have that great of a wave clear from your AD carry, you have 2 Mountain Drakes and a Victor. And that's enough of a wave clear on its own, so they could be able to just pressure these turrets to oblivion, really.
Yeah, like you're saying, with them reclaiming the vision, Prompo having those ghost wards are just incredible. Those zombie wards, sorry, not ghost wards. The zombie wards allow them to get a lot more vision around this map. It's going to be really, really useful, actually. And a really good choice from Prompo, because the amount of vision that Hydra has had, and with him having that sweeping lens, is going to be able to make it a lot more in their favor. We do see Hydra setting up for this Baron here. Obviously, we do know the side of Chimaera know this is happening.
They're baiting. They're just baiting right now.
Prompo looks like he's in a little bit of a dangerous spot. There is 4 members of Hydra ready for this fight, and there we are. We're going to see they're going to try and take this red buff. Is going to go down instead for Prompo, but the shockwave, Van Borgen is going to flash away from the shockwave there, is going to survive just that little bit longer.
And this is the person that you have to keep a look out for. Badger, he has the Luden's Echo finished on this Orianna. He can burst through Victor, no problem. Half HP done in 1 single combo. Now Prompo getting caught out by Benja.
Yeah, Benja jumping onto Prompo. Prompo's going to take a lot of damage. Benja's going to be forced to the invisibility, but then we also see Nizik as well getting a little bit forward, trying to get those little bits of damage off. Rezik, though, is very low. He won't be able to fight this that long if Nizik is able to get onto him. And there we are going to see Godvaj? There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, that guy. Yeah, it's Danish.
To pronounce. Yeah. Is going to get into a bit of an awkward situation here. Braveheart a little bit alone by 3 members of Chimaera here. Is he going to get caught out, or do you think he can use a slicing maelstrom to keep the team at bay long enough for his team to catch up, if he is to get caught out?
The thing that I'm actually a bit surprised by is that he decided to go for Morello second instead of going for that Zonias, and the reason for that is he wants to eliminate any sensible healing on a Nizik's side. Now, while Vladimir doesn't deal enough damage on his own to really be able to 1v4, he still can heal through these team fights. Now, Prompo trying to at least scout this dragon out before it gets slaughtered, but 3 Mountain Drakes in the hands of Hydra. This is such a terrifying comp to be playing into, especially when it's in the right hands, and a 7,000 gold now in the plus for the side of Hydra.
We are going to see an engage onto Godvaj though, but you know he's gonna get disengaged on Badger being there as well, and Hivian. But it looks like Hydra are going to start this Baron now. You know they don't have Nizik, but Nizik does have that TP available. Benja coming in from the back there as well. But you know they've got the better team fight. They can probably fight this if Baron's able to get them just a little bit more low. Now Hydra do know that Chimaera have the vision, and they are going to be backing off a little bit from that Baron, allowing it to reset at 4,000 HP.
And they were hoping to at least get Nizik's teleport. The fact that Nizik was just running all the way from bot lane instead of using the TP actually works against them this time around. Braveheart.
Braveheart's going to get very low. Badger's going to be forced to back off that. We did see Chimaera trying to get the turret on the side there. Braveheart is going to be forced to back off. Benja's going to get engaged on by Hivian. Hivian's going to be
oh my god.
Forced to flash over the wall. Benja's going to get very low. He's going to be forced to disengage. They did pop the flash from Hivian though, because the amount of damage Benja was able to pressure out of them. But it looks like Chimaera can probably push for this tower here. Could be their first tower of the game. They don't have the slicing maelstrom just yet, because obviously Braveheart was forced to back off, and there's going to be a first tower going down to Chimaera.
And finally, Chimaera catch that break. They catch the glimpse of Respite. Right now, they were able to push that mid lane turret, which allows them to at least try and contest the vision in these jungle quadrants. They can now properly try and at least pressure the side lanes. If they get the top lane turret, that is going to allow them a much easier access to that Baron pit. And we saw that Hydra were going for the Baron, but it was way too big of a 50-50 to really try and take it instantly. So instead, they were hoping to bait something out, unable to do so in the end. And Badger, once again, coming up clutch. This guy has so much damage on this Orianna. You have to keep an eye out on him in the upcoming fight.
Yeah, you know, Badger having so much damage. Like you're saying, like he has that damage, but then he's going to get caught out. Hivian's going to deal a lot of damage to it. Benja's going to jump over the wall, and the shockwave from Badger is going to be able to get the shutdown onto Benja, which is going to be a huge, huge pick for the side of Chimaera here. It allows them a lot more pressure because Benja, it relieves them a lot of pressure because Benja's no longer in that jungle, but Braveheart jumping onto Nizik. Nizik can pop the ultimate onto Braveheart. Braveheart's going to be forced to disengage from this. He's going to pop the stopwatch at a very good time. Nizik looking maybe further onto this kill. Braveheart's going to use the speed to get away from this one, though.
Yeah, the speed demon squirrel still being chased by this Vladimir, unable, however, to be killed by this squirrel hunter, as we can proudly call him.
Vladimir, the squirrel hunter.
The squirrel hunter, the vampire. I don't know why I was missing that name for so long, but the fact that Benja got caught out allowed for Chimaera to set up all of this jungle control and vision around that Baron pit, but, well, it's gonna return to the same status quo that it was at before, which means that, well, kind of Hydra just dominated, and again, Chimaera are completely in the blind whenever this Baron buff is going to be taken. However, if Benja is caught out once again, it's going to be a really troublesome situation because right now, Chimaera, they have enough damage to contest Hydra. Not in a full 5v5 fight, but if it can become a 5v4, they can definitely make something happen.
And if you actually look at the kill count, only 5 kills for each team at 26 minutes. It's really proving to be almost like an LCS-like game with how much control both teams have had and how much vision's really mattered this game and how little kills there've been and how good the CS is as well. It's kind of reminding me of some of the games I've seen recently with especially, you know, if anyone had tuned in to the TSM game that happened with the reversed sweep. Really, really interesting play. But, you know, in those games, in a lot of LCS games, actually, not just those games, we don't see a lot of these kills. And you know what? Same in this game. I'm not saying these teams are LCS level, but I'm just saying.
I'll take it. And it's also because these teams have been just playing so well around the map instead of just going for 1v1 big outplays. You see Braveheart in the side lane laning against Nizik. Nothing that really happens there. Of course, Braveheart is still looking for kills, but at this point, Nizik is strong enough to be matching this cannon. He's even dealing so much damage to this bot lane turret.
We are seeing in the bot lane Braveheart jumping onto Nizik. Nizik's going to be forced to back off the slicing belt.
Oh, that's nice.
Nizik, a really nice flash. Incredible play from Braveheart. Able to get in the kill onto Nizik. Panning back into the mid lane here. We see Benja maybe looking to get a play onto Badger. And maybe try and get a pick. Because a pick onto Badger would be huge here.
Yeah, and as I say that there are not many kills happening, well, Braveheart again proves me wrong. Thank you, sir, for doing that. Another kill opens up the map quite a lot. However, Hydra aren't really doing too much with it right now. They could have tried and pressure Baron. Given that they have 3 Mountain Drakes, they could definitely do so, but an engage happening now mid lane. Oh, that's unfortunate.
The Alistair being a bit of a misplay there, but, you know, Bornstein is going to get solo shockwave by the Orianna.
And this is huge.
Drugs is going to fall down. And there we go. Van Vorgen is going to be able to live that one. But he got a little bit worse from that shockwave. They're going to look to get this Baron now. Braveheart's there as well. Popping the TP to try and get up to this one. They don't have the Vladimir. They don't have Nizik. They don't have Hivian yet. I don't think they're going to be able to contest this one properly. They're probably going to try and go for the steal. But he doesn't have the flash to get over. We're going to see the Bormol isn't able to do much. Blue team securing the Baron.
A very quick and clean take of the Baron by the side of Hydra. They have those 3 Mountain Drakes. They still do have Victor. They have Delusion, and as a result of that, they're able to take it no problem.
Hivian getting a really nice pick onto Benja.
Coming up clutch, once again, this substitute who came to play his off-roll on the side of Chimaera, taking his first kill of the game. We have completely missed him, I feel like. Haven't really talked about him too much. 3 items Ezreal, still super strong. He's also opted in for that Iceborne Gauntlet, foregoing any amount of scaling in the case of Trinity Force.
Engage here. We did see the Alistair combo was missed, and Engage Pompo jumping straight in, but a slicing Maelstrom's going to get ripping through the team. They're going to get a pick onto Godvad. Godvad, they're going to now back off. Hivian and Nizik. I keep messing up the names, just really struggling with them, but Hivian and Nizik staying on a good amount of HP, but Pompo is going to get a bit low. This Infernal Dragon is really going to be vital for Chimaera to put themselves back into this game. Badger in the bush. He's got the shockwave ready. He's going to use it, pulling in, just picking in a massive shutdown onto Braveheart, but then he's going to engage on by Wreck-It to be able to kill on to Badger there. Nizik is going to be on the roll. Providence there, the red team is going to be able to get onto the Inferno. Red is jumping onto Nizik. Nizik is going to be jumping into the team. Hivian's going to be forced to flash out. Nizik being a bit low. Hivian also not being able to re-engage onto this, but we are going to see potentially Spiller jumping onto Hivian, could potentially try and go for this pick onto him there. A really nice play, I think, definitely coming out on top for the side of Chimaera with that dragon.
And well, Hydra, I'm not sure if we're going to be getting a replay on that. I would really love it because, wow, that was a chaotic team fight. Now,
yeah,
we're not Wreck-Its.
Oh! Gonna shut him down. The Glacial Fissure is going to do a lot there. Really, really nice play actually from Nizik to get him very, very low, or low enough to do that. Benja in a bit of a word position here. He's going to maybe get a pick onto Godbadge. Godbadge is going to pop the shield just to stay alive a little bit longer. But Benja has that GA now. He can stay alive in these team fights, and since he has 4 items, including that GA. And that's really going to give him enough damage and sustainability to stay in these fights, to keep this Ezreal and this Nizik at bay.
And Benja has a lot of items, however, Hydra came with a lot of mistakes in that one teamfight. We are going to be jumping into a replay here right quickly. Ulrich, so he jumps onto Vladimir, however, he jumps into a pool of blood really quickly. Now, the team fight is turned around on its head by Cannon. However, after that, it's just 1 kill. And look what Hivian is doing. He's just kiting away with the Mystic Shot. Some time passes, and the side of Chimaera are the ones to be doing this Infernal because there is no smite on Benja as he isn't in that team fight. Badger on drugs comes completely unspotted, gets a huge shockwave down, and while Wreck-Its and Ulrich are able to find him back, well, that's a really, really weak price to be paying for this Infernal Drake that, which, as you rightfully said so, is gonna help them get back into this game as we just end this fight off with some fantastic and fabulous kiting on the side of Hivian.
Yeah, definitely. We are going to see this Baron is going to be dropping in 20 seconds. I don't think Hydra did a lot with this Baron at all. They didn't get any objectives. Actually, they lost the Infernal Drake fight, which, you know, the Baron really didn't do much for them. Honestly, it just gave them gold at this point because they weren't able to push anything. They weren't able to get objectives. The Baron's going to be running out just about now, and you know it's kind of disappointing. I would have expected a lot bigger of a play, but scratch that. Just at the end of the Baron being able to pick up that last tower, but still, I think they would have still got that anyway without the Baron. And it's kind of disappointing to see how they did with that. Hydra did with that.
And I feel like that might be a bit of a problem moving onwards into this series. Perhaps if we see these misplays coming from Hydra. They had the superior early game composition and they played it out fabulously, but now Chimaera are able to match them. Benja gets chunked down.
Yeah, Benja is going to pop, GA is going to be popped, and Nizik's going to get a massive amount of damage onto Benja. Really nice shockwave to pull Benja back in. That's a massive pick, and that is going to force Hydra to back off just a little bit. Benja overextending there.
Yeah. Benja has actually had a lot of these individual misplays where he just overextends because he's trying to clear out vision or for some other unknown reasons, and then he gets just pulled back into his team comp. And to return to my point, the side of Hydra were able to get so much success because they were stronger in the early game, but now, Chimaera, they have this Orianna, they have this Ezreal, there is just so much damage on their side. They're going to be able to match Hydra now, as well as with the Vladimir getting almost that Rabadon's death cap as his 3rd item. This composition is going to start coming online very, very soon, and Hydra, they have to start doing something as the clock is slowly but surely going to start ticking out unless they can find a huge team fight.
And Nizik still having that Fiendish Codex, which we pointed out at the start of the game. It's not really turned into anything just yet, and it doesn't look like it's about to. Nizik, I think, just basing he's going to be able to get that Rabadon's, like you were saying, which is going to give him such a massive damage boost in this. Oh, he didn't even get the Rabadon's. He just based for nothing, really.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he
okay.
did. I would have thought he had a gold for it there, honestly.
Did he?
No, I thought he would have had the gold because he just went top and cleared a wave and then based again. So
okay,
I was
that's
like,
fair.
okay.
And perhaps he just forgot, or well, he didn't have the gold for it. We can't really tell.
How much it cost?
Yeah, I forgot. You know, it's written down. It's written under the item. Come on, man. But he does go to the bot lane to try and match this cannon. But Benja is now in there as well. Braveheart jumping in.
Yeah, Braveheart jumping in. We are going to see Nizik is going to get stunned by the slicing maelstrom. Benja going to be able to kill onto Nizik. I feel like I've been saying slicing maelstrom a lot this game because a lot of these plays from Braveheart have been huge and have. You know, we've seen some cannon plays before, and none of them have been as big as Braveheart here. But we are going to see Prompo is going to get caught out a bit by Van Hogen, and then Prompo promptly is going to be taken down by Van Borgen. I'm glad you saw what I did there.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I do some puns as well, so I respect them. Now, Hydra able to get that pick. before it was Benja overextending and giving away kills, now it's Prompo together with an Isaac, a really, really huge pairing to take down right now because it's the Smite as well as Engage and the only front line that you really have.
Oh,
that was close.
Stealing it, but the second Baron going down in the side of Hydra, but it looks like Chimaera are trying to get this in.
Oh my god!
Massive steal!
No way!
Steal away the Infernal Dragon.
No way!
Amazing! That's going to give them 5 dragons now, moving into this 35-minute mark with the Baron, 3 mountains and 2 Infernals. Almost perfect. Just look at the timing, man.
It's so perfect. Braveheart has been stepping up this game so much, he didn't even know it!
It was blind! Oh my gosh, that's a massive play! That's
a tilter. That's a tilter is what it is. Jesus Christ.
Definitely. Oh, that was really, really good. Braveheart pulling out a big power play there.
Yeah. I mean, Braveheart has been stepping up this game so much. I feel like he has been the catalyst for so much of the success of the Hydra lineup. Of course, everyone else also stepping up, but Braveheart definitely being one of the biggest players on that lineup right now. And it makes sense because, you know, he was the MVP candidate for the last split, kind of came out a bit anticlimactically for his team, but in the end, he's proving us why he's so good. Godfly! Oh no!
He's going to get caught out by the culling there, but we also did see Badger was able to do a lot of damage onto Benja. The turret going down in the side of Hydra. A massive slicing Maelstrom jumping in on the team. He's going to get 2 stuns followed by that Alistair Knuckle. And there we go. Isaac's going to get taken down quite fast there. And we are going to see him go for the inhibitor take. Risk is going to get very low. Badger getting caught out by Benja there. And the shockwave almost coming down. And then we got Hivian is going to pick up a call onto Benja, but is going to get quite low in the process. It looks like Hydra could be backing off because they did take the inhibitor though, which is going to give them a really, really nice play at the start of this.
And right now Hydra are rotating also to that top side jungle. Unsure if they're going to be going for more. Looks like they will be just content with putting Braveheart into that stealing jungle department, but they do manage to secure themselves the inhibitor buff. However, we're moving into the 40th minute very, very shortly, and the lineup of Chimaera has had their time. Now, when you look at the items, you are still going to see just 3 items on Prompo, just 2 or just 3 items as well on Oriana, just 3 items on Ezreal. So they still have a way to go. However, they're still going to slowly but surely outscale Hydra. However, for them to really achieve the peak outscaling, they actually have to play well around the team fighting. If they don't position properly, if they don't have Braum and Skarner in the front line to just allow Hivian as well as Badger to just free hit, well, it can still turn against them because this burst of the side of Hydra isn't going anywhere. It's just the health bars and resist on the tanks that are getting better and better.
Yeah, we also see that Godvaj is very underleveled. He's just only hit level 14. When,
oh god.
You know, yeah, that's really not good, especially for being a tank. You know, you want to have at least some levels. You want to try and keep up average, about say, on levels the same ADC. But, you know, he's not going to be tanky. He's going to be, as we saw in the last fight, he was able to get picked off as a tank right next to his tower. That's not what he wants. Benji jumping over the wall. That's a lot of wards. That's a lot of goals for Benji. You can pick up 3 wards there. We are seeing also in the top lane, Inge's no.
Oh my god!
He just disappeared. Braveheart just disappeared off the planet there.
Just goddamn Thanos snapped him. Oh my god!
You know, he really, like you were saying, he's turned online now. We're this late game. We're about to hit this 40-minute mark, and Isaac proving this by getting a massive power play in the top lane to get a kill onto Braveheart, shutting down the slicing Maelstrom in these fights. But bot lane, this tower's looking like it's about to fall down. We are seeing Hivian maybe looking for a few plays there. The Baron buff isn't available right now for the side of Hydra. It has ran out. They are going to have to push this tower manually. It is going to be a 4 versus 5 though, when Prompo does come back down, which is going to force Hydra off the base.
And the thing that you're going to start seeing now is that whenever the Baron buff is gone, okay, we're just going to quickly watch the replay to see what happened to Braveheart. So Braveheart is trying to free stack on this turret. Isaac actually misses his E, and this is the trade that is actually going the way of Braveheart. So he's thinking, alright, I've got a good trade on him. That is a lot of damage, if you haven't seen. Now Isaac, Flash, Hemoplague, E and Q, and that's a dead squirrel.
The Hemoplague probably wasn't even needed there because he had the empowered Q, he had the
to be fair,
charged E, you know.
You want an overkill, you know? Like, okay, Nizik has been getting bullied this game. Like, just give him this one kill. Come on, he's 3-5. Nizik hasn't had a good game, like, at all, because he's playing Vladimir. He's been playing to scale. That's the only thing that he's been doing. And right now, he's achieving his goal, finally, after 40 minutes of the game.
And, you know, he built that Fiendish Codex before 10 minutes, and now he's actually finally turning it into an item. 40 minutes into the game, ladies and gentlemen, he's building into a Zonya's.
That's interesting. You know...
A bit late. A bit late.
Well, to be fair.
The Elder Dragon for Hydra maybe here. The Chimaera have to contest this. They cannot let
okay, goodbye.
5 dragons, but it's getting burnt down. These 3 mountains are doing work, and that's it. It's
My
gone.
God.
And now they've got the Infernal Drake, 2 Infernal Drakes and 3... Oh, maybe the Godrike. Okay, Godrike is going to live that, but there we are. We're going to see Benji jumping in. He's going to get blown up. No, Godrike is going to get taken down.
God.
He's going to get a big kill. Hivian and Nizik able to disengage. Pompo jumping on too. Wrestling, but Rizik is going to live. Pompo's going to fall down. We're going to see Benji there as well. The Vladimir, not so good. Victor, the massive shotgun is going to be able to get there onto Benji. And then we go to Slicing Maelstrom, also jumping straight onto Banja on drugs. 4 members down in the side of Chimaera. Hydra are looking out to end this game here. Braveheart doing a massive damage to Hivian. Hivian is going to try and survive this though on a very small amount of HP, but it looks like it could be the end here. They've got the Elder Dragon, and with an Elder Dragon, Elder Dragon with 3 mountains.
Oh my lord!
There we go. Just one-shotting these towers. Thanos snapping these towers like you said earlier. And then we hit Hivian jumping in,
he gets a kill
onto Braveheart. But game number 1 is going to go down in the side of Hydra, being able to get so much early dragon pressure, and that Elder Dragon did get them the win for the first game of this best of 3, 41 minutes through.
And it looked a bit sloppy in the mid game. It looked like Chimaera could perhaps do something to return into this game, but in the end, it was Hydra just way too far ahead. Like, Braveheart did such an amazing job. Benja also, I feel like we haven't mentioned him too much, but he played very solidly for the fact that this is his first game in SRG, and the fact that he is also the substitute jungler for this lineup. He played pretty well. He got caught out a couple of times, yeah, we're gonna give that to them, but regardless, very nice game and a very convincing victory for Hydra just overall on all sides of the board.
Yeah, I think Braveheart definitely has to take my MVP personally for that game because of the Slicing Maelstrom players all across the map being able to get so many picks, being able to create so much pressure, keeping Nizik off everywhere basically. Only until that late game did we see that Braveheart was getting a bit overpowered by Nizik. Benja obviously did get a lot of dragons, but he got caught out a bit too much to get my MVP for that game.
Yeah, however, the side of Hydra, they actually played very well together. They had clearly cut win conditions, they knew what they had to do, and they did that. Rekits and Uholik Spiller, they got that advantage in the bot lane. Van Berksen also went even pressured Badger in that mid lane, even though he was getting ganked. And Braveheart, well, he's a category all for himself, because, you know, Jesus Christ, that was actually disgusting. But moving into the second game, we're gonna have to see how that transpires. Now, also something that I want to give you guys, our lovely viewers. On the other stream, there is a Broken Squad and Hydro Esport Jr. playing against one another in Division 4, I believe it is. Broken Squad has taken the first game, so if you want to see another bit of League of Legends transpire, then hey, head over there. But we are going to be back in a couple of minutes. I'm unsure if the teams are going to request a 10-minute break. However, we're gonna see you very soon, so don't go nowhere.
Legends never die when the world is calling you. Can you hear them screaming out your name? Legends never die, they become a part of you. Every time you bleed for reaching greatness, relentless you survive. They never lose hope when everything's cold and the fighting's near. It's deep in their bones, they'll rot into smoke when the fire is fierce. Oh, pick yourself up, 'cause legends never die when the world is calling you. Can you hear them screaming out your name? Legends never die, they become a part of you. Every time you bleed for reaching greatness, legends never die. They're written down in eternity, but you'll never see the price it costs. The scars collected all their lives. When everything's lost, they pick up their hearts and avenge defeat. Before it all starts, they suffer through harm just to touch a dream. Oh, pick yourself up, 'cause legends never die when the world is calling you. Can you hear them screaming out your name? Legends never die, they become a part of you. Every time you bleed for reaching greatness, legends never die.
Hello everybody and welcome back to game number 2 of SRG Chimaera versus SRG Hydra. In the first game we did just see SRG Hydra taking the first game with a really nice good victory, being able to pick up 5 dragons and then finishing up with a big elder dragon. I'm co-casting today with my color caster Kerim. Would you like to say hey?
I know. I wouldn't like to say hey. We
okay.
already casted the first one. It's okay. No. Hello everyone. Welcome back. Hopefully you're going to be visiting with us Summoner's Rift another time for yet another chess party, because that's essentially what it was the last game. Hydra played the map almost flawlessly before the 20th minute. After that we saw one skewed Baron buff play. After that we saw kind of another Baron buff play that didn't really go in their favor, but as you said, Elder Dragon came and went, and well, it came in the way of Hydra, and they were able to extort, essentially, Chimaera out of the game simply because, well, they were super far ahead. Now, they are going to be on the rec side, so they aren't on the red side, so they aren't going to be having the privilege of getting a first pick, and that can perhaps spell some trouble if we're speaking of team compositions and how much dominance they're going to be able to incorporate into their lineup.
Yeah, and you know what? Going into game number 2, I do think that Chimaera had a lot to learn about what happened in the first game, especially pressure when it came to sort of this like early like dragons, especially, which is what I think was the biggest win condition for Hydra in that first game. And you know, I think Chimaera do need to go for more of these dragons, because last game they only got 1, and that was about 30 minutes into the game.
And the problem was that they didn't have anything in the bot side. Like, if you have a winning mid lane, then you can perhaps try and make the argument that you can secure something from the bot side of the map. But if you have a bot lane that is actually winning and putting down pressure, you can guaranteed go for these dragons, and I feel like that can be the main talking point as we move into the champ select right now. Ryze being the first of the bans from the side of Chimaera, still deciding to pay attention to that lovely Smurf man, because of course he is still a very potent split pusher, and he can also team fight pretty well, but still just decide to take him away. I feel like I have to see Kennen banned right now, because if he's not, Jesus Christ, it has to go to Nizik first pick.
Yeah, that Kennen pick was incredible for the side of Hydra last game, and was what ended up winning my MVP. If you weren't there, make sure to go back at the end of the stream and watch that first game, because it was action-packed and it was a really amazing game to watch. 40 minutes, if you have the time, I would say definitely go for it. But Rek'Sai being banned, which is another ban we actually did see from Chimaera in the last pick of bans, I think, for phase 1.
Yeah, it was the second phase, I believe it was.
Okay, the second phase, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
It's still off nonetheless. So Hydra, they're still paying a lot of attention to that mid lane. However, Badger on Drugs was able to still exert a lot of pressure in that lane alone on that Victor. A lot of picks that can actually put down that pressure themselves now taken off the board. Xerath and Zoe, making sure that Van Borgsen can play that lane very easily. Morgana taking on the side of Chimaera. They still, you know, they definitely want to be playing against that pick, but however, Kennen left open, and Nizik has to pick it now. Like, that has to be the first pick, because if it's not, I don't know what they're doing. Okay.
They're taking the Jarvan, okay.
Alright. That's interesting, okay. But the Kennen is now open for Hydra, that they can lock it in themselves. Actually very interesting if it is going to be a Jarvan in that top lane, because it can be flexed around to both top lane and jungle, as well as the support position potentially. So a really good flex pick to be locking yourself as the first one. You're going to be revealing more cards with the second and third pick. However, Hydra looks like they are going for the bot lane focus. Okay, alright, so...
I'm really surprised they didn't pick the Kennen there, actually, because of how well it worked out last game. But I see why they picked the Alistar, but I'm not sure about the Tristana. I feel like the Kennen might have been a stronger one there.
Possibly. They are just saying that, okay, we want to have a very solid bot lane. This opens up, however, the opportunity and the window for Chimaera to lock in themselves a very potent bot lane themselves. They can go for something like a Lucian, like that Ezreal. This Galio is likely going to be going into that support position, as we have not seen too much of him being played in the mid lane. So it will be a very safe bot lane. And this is what I mentioned when I was talking about the bot side pressure that helps you take these Drakes. Right now, it's going to come to the execution, as well both of these AD carries have relatively similar speeds of clear. It's just gonna be Godquite on a pretty strong support in the early game when you compare it to something like an Alistar.
Yeah, and we are also going to see, I think, Silas is going to be locked in for the side of Hydra. Van Borgsen, you know, well, we've seen like him play well in Victor, and now we're seeing him play a completely different mid laner. And do you have any like info on, does he play any Silas?
I'm a bit unsure, honestly. I don't think that we have seen him play that. Of course, I'm gonna look in my notes, because right now I do that. I know that Munkholm on the side of Hydra played it one time in the jungle. I'm unsure if anyone on the current lineup of Hydra has played it. However, right now, it is a flex pick. Can go to Braveheart Beja as well as Van Borgsen. So right now, you don't really know where this pick is going to be going. we actually have seen Sylas come out of favor of a lot of teams simply because of the nerf that he got to his E are so devastating for his trading pattern in lane. And so right now, I think that we can expect him moving into that jungle position rather than any other, which isn't something that Chimaera thinks that is going to happen because they're just banning out the Kazakhs, who would be taking his slot instead.
Yeah, the Kennen banned out by Hydra, actually. Surprises me a little bit. I see why they banned the Orianna because it was picked last game, and you know that is definitely like a shoulder thing. But Kennen, I feel like they didn't need to ban here, which kind of no, they could have first picked it here because you know they have this pick.
Could have.
But I'm surprised they didn't. The Fiora also being banned out, which is a very strange one. I don't see why the Fiora needed to be banned out. I don't think Fiora would have worked incredibly well in Hydra's comp. I think they needed more of maybe an engage tool or more of a team fighter like the Kennen or something like that. So I don't think Fiora was really the ban for the team there. I felt there's a lot better bans than that.
Possibly. They just want to avoid some of the late game guarantee that Hydra are going to be able to get themselves. They do get that Urgot now, meaning that Sylas is still being flexed around the jungle and mid lane. Technically, we can expect Urgot to be also going to mid lane. We haven't been seeing that pick move over to that side of the map too much, but it's a very, very big possibility. So right now, Chimaera, they don't really know what's going where. They have some flex tools in the case of this Jarvan, but they're going to be saying, alright, they're just going to be saying, hey, you know where this Jarvan is going to be going. It's going to be in the jungle, and it's going to be Rumble piloting his mech in that top lane against, well, whoever on Hydra right now.
Yeah, and I actually do think Rumble's a really nice pick. They've gone for definitely the Team Titan comp Chimaera this time. You know, with the Jarvan, Galio, Severe, and Rumble having such a big ultimate being the equalizer, can just change the tide of teamfights so well. And now, yeah, the Lissandra being a control mage, definitely Chimaera going for this teamfight comp, this group early, maybe push for objectives sort of comp. So they are on the blue side as well, which means they can get a bit more dragon pressure because they can obviously do those wards over the wall that are on the right side of the map for that.
Yeah, and Rumble actually got a really nice buff recently. He got actually his move speed that he gets off of the W and on his first level doubled, which is pretty huge. Okay, now
that's Sylas jungle and Cassidy.
That's Sylas jungle. Yeah. So Hydra, they're just going all for late game, and I'm actually really surprised to see how this is going to work out for them because they were able to get a lot of pressure thanks to their early game composition, which is going to be a bit more difficult for them this time around, given that you have Cassidy scaling, you have Urgot relatively scaling. Remember, after the changes that Urgot received, he now toggles his W as soon as that ability is maxed, which if you're still going with the old scaling pattern, comes online at, I believe around level 12. Or you can also max it first, and you can just get it at like level 8.
It's level 13 where you do your second max.
Okay, yeah. So, and the first is level 6, right? If I'm not mistaken. Or level 8,
9,
sorry. Level
9 is the
okay,
first.
alright. Fair. So, you can still get it very early on, so that is going to be the only real mid-game guarantee for them. Of course, they still do have the Sylas, who can do very, very nice things in the mid lane, in the mid-game as well. And I'm also going to be looking at where Benja is actually going to be going with his ganks, because last game, he didn't really do that, did he? He just went around, he farmed the camps, he got himself relatively ahead of Prompo, and then he came and wreaked havoc. Now, if that is going to be the same case...
We've actually seen the other stream from a Broken Squad versus Hill Red Esports, a Yorick mid. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
That's a thing, I suppose.
That's different. I like it.
You know, yeah, it's different. I feel like that's the only thing that we can positively say about that. But we are now just sitting through the spectator delay. Moving on to the other team of Chimaera, you mentioned that they are also going for that team fighting potential, and they're also going to have a bit of an easier time when it comes to actually grouping together, simply because they have more AoE damage in this Lissandra and Rumble when comparing it to someone like Cassidy and Urgot. So when it comes to pure 5v5, I would actually give the advantage to Chimaera, but now the question becomes, how easy is their journey to get there? Because I dare say that it's actually gonna be pretty goddamn difficult, because they have Sivir and Galio in the bot lane, which is really bad for early game. They have Lissandra in the mid lane, who after the nerfs is actually kind of gutted. So it's really difficult for her to just, clean out the waves, which is essentially what she wanted to do. And they have only Nizik and Prompo who can do something in the early game. So it's gonna come down to execution of Chimaera, which actually is gonna be a bit more difficult than even last time.
Yeah, and a pick I'd really like to highlight is the Cassidy pick. We never see Cassidy picked. We don't see it in LCS, really. We don't see it often, especially in the past couple patches. We do see it maybe when it is meta, but right now I don't think it is very meta, and we've not seen it from any team, I think, over any stream so far this season, for this, split so far. Yes. It's a really interesting pick, and I do like seeing it played, but it is sort of a hit or miss. He'll either do really well, or he won't do great. And we've seen the TP being picked from both mid laners, and obviously both mid laners not being much of an engage sort of mid lane. Obviously Cassidy doesn't really want to engage before 6 especially, and Lissandra being more of a safe, maybe go bot lane. I think a lot of the focus this game is going to be around that top lane.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be there once again. If Braveheart can find these picks onto Nizik, it's going to be absolutely devastating, because if Nizik falls behind, there is nothing for Chimaera to rely on in the early game, and they're going to essentially have to give the game up before before minute 30. So it's gonna be very important that you can keep this squirrel up and breathing, because if you give it to that random crab man, well, it's gonna become a really difficult game for you to play, even more so than with this, actual team composition.
Yeah, and soon we will be heading into this game very soon. And another sort of highlight pick is the Galio. I think you touched on it a little bit, but the Galio, we're seeing mainly what it was in the mid lane last season, but has now transitioned fully into support after we've seen it, I believe, played in the LCK, if you didn't know about this. It was played in the LCK and eventually became sort of a standard for all regions of play, and now we're seeing Galio support everywhere because, he has damage, he keep his ADC alive, he has good engage and disengage, and I think, at first when I did see Galio change, I really did think, that's a support champion, but finally, he's been put into the support role, because I didn't think he was a mid laner for a while.
Yeah, sure. You predicted it, of course you did.
I did when he was first released. And I think he was more of a mid laner, because he was AP based, but now he's got to be tanky based. Yeah. But go on, what are you going to say?
Remember the pre-rework Galio?
I want that Galio back. That Galio was fun.
Running around with his tornadoes. So good.
Having a taunt as an ultimate. Can we just...
It was so bad. But
it was funny though.
It was funny. Unlike the current Galio, who is a very serious man. He actually has a lot of great lines, which I won't remember right now because of course I won't, because well, I'm a dumbass apparently. However, we are now finally in the Summoner's Rift. Both teams now heading to their respective sides of the map in a horizontal line, as you lovely put it yesterday, I believe it was. So nothing likely going to be happening just yet. A very boring start.
Yeah, no big groups in the bottom try or anything like that. We're just seeing the standard start from both teams. It's very satisfying to watch that big horizontal line form though, where everyone walks the exact direction. I think you know what I mean when you there we go. We get a nice little zoom out from that. Thank you very much, Joe. But we do get a nice little zoom out of that there, of the long horizontal line. And something that I'll also quite like to point out is that Rumble doesn't push towers nearly as well as an Urgot does, especially in this early game. So I think if Braveheart is able to push Nizik out the lane, he can definitely push down these plates a lot faster than Nizik would be able to if Braveheart gets pushed out. Which means I think Braveheart could have a good, lane ahead of him if he's able to win these early engages against Nizik.
Oh yeah, especially in the first couple of levels before Rumble actually gets access to his flamethrower, he really has to push him in, because as soon as the lane goes on for a bit longer, remember, Rumble doesn't have any mana, so he doesn't have issues stemming from them, and if he just keeps on shoving Braveheart, he's going to be always utilizing the Urgot's mana, so in the prolonged state of the lane, it's going to be Braveheart that is actually going to be struggling a tiny bit, and so he has to get as much pressure in right now as he can.
Yeah, Braveheart, really, with the overclock changes, making him more of an assassin, but he did get nerfed in the last patch, losing a bit of that damage, losing a bit of the mana costs as well, making it so it's a little bit, you know, less sustain, a little bit less damage as well overall. But yeah, like you were saying, he needs to make the most out of his early levels. You know, those shotgun knees can do a lot, you know. I've called him shotgun knees every single exchange. You can see Pompo's going to get engaged on by Benja. Benja jumping onto Pompo. He's going to do a bit of damage. You know, he's getting very low, Pompo here. They both have the red buff, and it looks like the both bot lanes are going to start to move up, and the mid laners are also moving down at the same time. Spiller's going to take a lot of damage. He's being forced to disengage. The Ignite being taken onto him as well. We may be seeing Badger on drugs going for a further engage on the top there of the map. Reckitt's going to get forced to flash away from God Badger's engage. Both bot lanes are going to be backing off. No kills going to be traded, but Pompo is going to get very low, and is Badger's on drugs as well.
And Chimaera, however, coming with the clean rotation. The thing there was, Reckitt jumped forwards and left Ulrich Spiller behind himself. So what that meant was that Alistar was alone, and he was doing essentially a 1v2 while Tristana was unavailable somewhere else. And as a result of that, Hivian and Godquake could get a really favorable trade in for themselves, bursting out the summoner spell in the end from Reckitt. Ulrich Spiller somehow managed to retain that summoner spell, but still. Pretty nice rotation.
Yeah, well, very nice rotation. We might be seeing an engage from Braveheart onto Nizik here, but he's engaging into a wave. Nizik's going to take quite a little. Braveheart is taking a lot of damage from these minions. He doesn't have.
Oh my god, these minions!
And there we go, the first blood going down to Nizik. Benja's also getting engaged on by Pompo. Benja's forced to go over the wall to try and get away from Pompo, but first blood going to Nizik and going to really shape out this lane for us.
That was such a good trade from Nizik, or rather a bad one from Braveheart. Braveheart thought that he had it. He thought that he was very strong. Now Benja fighting Pompo.
Yeah,
can't get the mid lane.
Get a bit of damage onto Benja. Benja's not going to be able to win this early trade. Mid laners are starting to rotate around, which is going to force Pompo back. But just to touch upon what we were saying, you know, I think Braveheart did go for the engage. He did think he had it, but he just ran out of that damage. The Conqueror wasn't able to heal him up for enough, and he engaged into 5 minions, 3 of them being casters, which is a death sentence at these early levels of level 3, of level 4. Is going to start bursting him down this early levels. He can't engage into these minions just yet. He's not got his ultimate.
Yeah, he got chunked for super much. Giga much, you could say. Now,
Giga
much. Now the little bit of a trade between Benja and Prompo that Prompo managed to win was because, of course, Benja had just a level 2, fighting into Jarvan's level 3. So makes sense that Jarvan could win that exchange. Now the farming status quo is once again set up. Chimaera looking a lot healthier as their bot lane isn't in a completely losing state. Van Borgsen asserting his dominance right now.
Yeah, Badger just being out of mana, he cannot really do much to fight that. And, you know, even though it's melee versus ranged, Van Borgen has 2 ranged abilities to his disposal, so he is still able to hit Badger on drones in the mid lane. We are going to see an engage onto Hivian. And no, the double taunt coming out from Godvaj. Godvaj is going to get a really nice engage onto that. Hivian's going to do a lot of damage onto Spieler. And then we're going to see Reckitt is going to do all the damage onto Hivian as well. Braveheart gets burned down by Nizik, but he looks like he's going to miss the E. Nizik's going to keep on going onto this. He's going to have that double E. Nizik's going to be able to out-damage Braveheart so much in this top lane now.
Oh my lord, Nizik has so much damage on this Rumble right now. And it's completely sustained, so he's just having such an easy time as Braveheart is completely teleportless, so he cannot go and reset. He also has already burned through all of his corrupting pot stacks, so he's gonna have an even harder time, but Rumble is actually missing a lot of CS in that top lane. 20 CS behind. Somehow.
Nizik, not Brumpo. Just going to correct you a little bit there.
Sorry, Nizik, yes.
Anyone got a little bit confused. We are going to see an engage Benja jumping onto Nizik. We're going to see Braveheart's going to be taking a lot of damage. Benja jumping onto Nizik.
Oh my god!
Equalizer onto Braveheart. A really nice engage. Nizik's going to be able to pick up the kill onto Braveheart. Benja's going to get very low. Nizik also being even lower.
Nizik!
A bit longer. Brumpo jumping onto Benja. And there we go.
No way!
Just coming low with a double kill onto Nizik. Benja falls down to the minions at the end.
The minions finally find him! The madman, oh my god, I did not expect that Nizik was going to be able to survive through that little fight. Now mid lane, Van Borgsen gets a lockdown.
Jumping onto Van Borgen, he's going to pop the ultimate Frozen Tomb onto Van Van Bogen.
Ooh.
Oh, he's just going to be able to get away. But just to talk about this replay that's going on the top lane, Nizik was able to do a lot of damage onto Braveheart before Benji was able to jump in. A really nice equalizer, slowing Braveheart, getting Nizik able to get the flashy on. The overheat wasn't allowing him to do much, but Benji didn't have any cooldowns up. You know, and with Nizik having a lot of damage and that shield keeping him alive just for long enough to kill off Benji. But since those last few minions were able to go through and finish him off, but you know, since he didn't get out of combat, he was actually able to keep the bounty from going down in the, you know, for Benji to get. So he still has the bounty now, but you know, Benji wasn't able to claim that bounty. So it was really just 2 kills for 1, no change whatsoever in that top lane.
Essentially, and right now this Braveheart is 0-2 on this Urgot, 3-1 Rumble. And if he wasn't terrifying before, he now has the composite item to Lion's Torment. So it's just, this lane turns into an even more of a terrifying spectacle for Braveheart. Such a more difficult lane to play into than the last one, and Urgot has already taken the call, which makes sense. He just wants to farm, but Benja doesn't.
The first back, actually, but we are going to see Benja jumping in onto Nizik here. He's going to use the E to get it. He's just going to use a stun now. Braveheart getting a really nice split onto Nizik. Nizik's going to get taken down, blown up by those shotgun knees. Going to get a big shutdown goal for 450 gold onto Braveheart. But looks like Badger on Drugs is trying to clear out that control one, but Van Bogen there is there as well. And looks like Badger on Drugs isn't going to use the E to get away, actually, but he is going to use the what is it, the root? Is it a root? I'm pretty sure it's a root, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So it's okay.
Onto Van Bogen to be able to get away. Obviously, the really nice silence coming out from Van Bogen, not allowing Badger to be able to use that E to get away. You know, the bot lane is a very stagnant, like we thought it was going to be, but Benja is there. Badger doesn't know he's there. Benja's going to land a really nice ultimate. Isn't going to be able to follow it up with much. The Frozen Tomb could have been up really big there if he was able to get it off, which he was not able to, inevitably.
And the end, Benja just comes around, waves goodbye to Badger on Drugs, as he's able to run away very, very safely. The gold lead actually still in favor of Hydra, as they're able to out-farm their adversaries. Benja actually doing a lot to keep the ship of Hydra afloat right now. So many gangs, mostly in that top lane, making sure that Braveheart can at least sustain himself in that lane. We are getting now the attention to the gold. Some deficits in the mid lane being found as well, as Kassadin has been able to farm pretty consistently into this Lissandra, being held by the nerfs, of course. I believe that her Q mana usage was doubled. A bit unsure about that, but I know that it was increased quite drastically, so it's a bit of an easier lane for it to play now. Now, Benja is roaming around with the Lissandra ultimate still.
Yeah, we are going to see Prompo coming in from behind. Benja is going to go for the engage onto Prompo, though. He's got the Frozen Tomb, but we are going to see Nizik moving down as well.
Oh my god.
Jumping onto Prompo.
No
and there's
way.
an equalizer just to force Benja away. Prompo's going to survive on a very small amount of HP, but Braveheart can use that ultimate to try and snipe him out, but it isn't actually up. Did he use it before?
He probably did. He probably didn't have missed it. Is what I'm assuming.
I didn't even notice it, so I think about it. Maybe you made a misclick, maybe.
Possibly was, but I mean, who knows? Who knows with Braveheart? He's a wacky guy. Now Badger and Drugs roaming over from the mid lane, but once again, Benja. This game, he's actually being really crucial for Hydra because he's just roaming around.
Ooh, Benja wasn't able to steal that, but Benja jogging through the Flash Frozen Tomb. He's going to get the route onto Benja as well, which is going to get a really nice, really clean kill for Prompo onto Benja there. Really, really heavy and a really nice pick for the side of Chimaera here.
And that's the caster curse. I mean, come on, like, this is the second time that has happened this series. Benja, of course, overextending. He tried to go for the blue buff. He didn't respect Van Borgsen, or
Prompo,
Badger, sorry.
Okay, nothing really coming off of that fight in the mid lane there. Prompo, I feel, could have maybe gone for the ultimate after Van Borgen had used his first, you know, after he used their first ultimate. But you're going to see Van Borgen jumping onto Badger Jump. He knows he doesn't have that Frozen Tomb, so he can go for these really ballsy engages because, you know, Badger Jump did pop the flash, did pop the Frozen Tomb, and is able to, you know, giving Van Borgen or Van Borgsen or whatever, that, you know, those free engages.
That's rude. Kind of.
I'm sorry.
Whatever. Calling whatever. Come on.
It just happens. Every time I look at the name, it changes. I swear.
Right. Okay.
Like...
Okay. Sure. But already speaking of him, he still hasn't hit level 11. At which point he becomes actually pretty scary on this Kassadin. He's still able to find a lot of these trades onto Badger, as you rightly pointed out. He doesn't have access to the flash nor the TP. Now Braveheart getting slowed by Nizik just some trading, just some friendly banter, it seems, that is happening. Also to inform the people that are currently watching our stream, Broken Squad and Hero Esport Jr. are currently dueling it out. 14 kills at 14 minutes. Okay, that's 15. I'm sorry, I just watched Maokai get blown up. Yorick mid lane is actually 2-2, in case you wanted to know. So that's fun. But returning to our game, now, Ocean Drake hasn't actually been taken down by Hydra just yet, which is a bit of a surprise when we take into consideration the last game, but given that they haven't been able to generate enough pressure in the bot lane and have been getting pushed under their turret themselves, makes quite a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think right now Chimaera could just really go for that dragon whenever. You know, Benja is going into the top lane, and we are going to see Braveheart jumping in onto Nizik. He's going to pop the ultimate for the slow, and then the massive equalizer is the two equalizers because of Benja. Nizik being forced to back off, Braveheart being very low. Nizik is able to get his abilities off because of the overload, and there we are going to see Benja jumping down to Nizik. Nizik going to try and get a kill onto Broken Heart. Oh, okay, Braveheart isn't going to fall down. They're going to pick up the kill onto Nizak. And like I said, Chimaera are going to pick up the Dragon as well. And Ocean Dragon is going to be really, really nice for the side of Chimaera, especially for Badger on drugs. Oh, okay, the Alistair Q just being popped with no W there. Yeah, that did just happen.
He just kind of headbutted him. Alright, that's cool. But... So, what Chimaera did was, they saw that Benja was in the top lane, and, well, that's good for the side of Hydra, because now there's, again, taken apart this early game guarantee of Rumble away from the side of Chimaera. They were able to secure this dragon themselves, and what that allows Nizik to do is, given that Rumble doesn't have any mana issues, he can now go for a lot more aggressive trades in the top lane because, well, he's a Rumble, and the HP is his only issue and concern, so... Well, now he can do even more. Now, Benja... Yeah,
Badger looking to try and interrupt Benja on his own Rift Herald. He's not got the Rift Herald very low, and it looks like Prompo and Badger are going to try and just take this from him now. Benja has just given up. He's gone straight to the red buff now. But it looks like he could potentially be going back in onto this. We are going to see a TP coming out from Braveheart, and Van Borgen is going to be there as well. They look like they're going to try and take this Rift Herald back, and there is actually Godbad coming in from the bot lane, and now the blue team stealing the Rift Herald away, and we're going to see a big engage Propo jumping with massive play onto Benja, to picking up a kill onto Benja, but also a kill onto Prompo himself, and then we're also going to see Badger is going to fall down alongside Nizik. There's 3 kills, Van Borgen looking to make it more. Godbad is at half HP, running away, he's only level 7. Van Borgen is looking to get a bit close, but he's jumping straight into the top there. Isn't going to be able to become a kill, but they are going to miss out on the Rift Herald, which was very well stolen from Badger on drugs.
Oh no, oh god, look at Rekits!
Yeah, Rekits jumping in onto him.
Oh, that's a misplay. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, oh, flashing and healing and staying alive from minions.
Yeah,
okay.
He is. It's okay. He managed to survive.
Staying alive.
Alright, he survived in the end. A bit of a misplay there as he dove under the turret and kind of just stood there, waiting for the turrets to hit him. Unfortunate from him, however, I want to return to that play that happened around the Rift Herald. Really huge that Chimaera were able to take that Rift Herald themselves, but given that there was such a nice rotation from Hydra, and they were able to completely out-teamfight anyone on Chimaera, there is simply not enough damage on them right now. There was Nizik who was just free-stacking with the flamethrower, but even he wasn't able to completely 1v5, and as such, Hydra take the lead. They take the initiative once again. See how it transpires. So Braveheart teleports into the fray. Benja has access to the Lissandra ultimate. Now Badger overextends. He does manage to get the Rift Herald, which is really huge. Now Galio is trying to do something, and a lot of these CC ultimates coming down. Wait, did Galio ultimate actually get cancelled?
Yeah, Galio ultimate did get cancelled, I believe, by Benja's stun on his E.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Now Nizik came through the top lane. However, he was unable to really do anything, and then he just kind of stood there.
Yeah, the equalizer was very poorly placed, and Van Borgen actually did a really nice ultimate just to get out the foot of the equalizer there.
He did come way too late to that team fight, to be fair, so he wasn't able to get into position.
He was clearing a wave just before that.
Yeah, so...
Almost in for the wave.
Yeah, so Isaac wasn't able to affect that team fight that much. Now, it is the 2,000 gold lead for Hydra, once again, as a 40 CS deficit being accumulated on Braveheart. That's just superior farming, really. Prompo trying to make something happen. Well,
yeah, I think Prompo is going to try and make more of these players around the mid lane, but you know, it's just a problem because Jarvan versus a Kassadin is just difficult.
It's just so difficult. Yeah.
Like, the Cataclysm's good, but is able to go...
Oh my god, that's...
Spieler. Oh, how can you say that name, by the way? How do you say that's his name?
I think it's Ulrich Spieler, but I call him the unlucky Spieler because that's my German pronunciation of it. Now, that was great from Alistar that he managed to
Godvan
cancel
jumping
it.
straight on into Van Bolgen in the bot lane. Van Bolgen's going to pop the Ignite, and we're going to see the shutdown actually going on to Hibian in the bot lane, which is really nice for him, actually.
And once again, it's just overextending. All of these kills that are like coming through both these, coming through for both these teams are just stemming from overextending.
That he is going to get hit by the Cataclysm and the Equalizer. Spiller taking a lot of damage. Rackets is able to go the Frozen Tomb going down onto Badger of Drugs, and then we're going to see Spiller's going to fall down. Rackets is going to take a bit of damage as well. The Frozen Tomb able to save Badger on Drugs from the Rackets there. We are going to see the Equalizer is stolen for Benjamin, but it isn't placed in such a good position.
Oh my god, the Urgot.
We also see Braveheart as well. Braveheart did indeed miss that ultimate there. Godvan jumping straight onto Braveheart with the taunt. Braveheart using the E to try and get a little bit of that taunt, you know, weared off just a little bit. We are going to see the base from Badger on Drugs, but they did pick up a kill onto, like you said, the unlucky Spieler.
And Isaac, he was rotating over to the bot side of the map. He went to try and stop Hibian. However, he was unable to do too much there, as Galio had already rotated over to mid to find a fight. And so Isaac wasn't there at mid lane either for that team fight. And as a result of that, Chimaera were able to find themselves one more kill. And before that, Galio also secured a kill over for Hibian once again. So they're actually starting to become pretty scary. Sivir has finished that one item, which isn't the most terrifying of all things, but, well, it can soon become that.
Yeah, you know, Sivir is one of those ADCs that can become a bit of a monster when it comes to these team fights. If able to get a really nice ricochet, is going to do so much damage to your entire team. Because, obviously, since the changes, I think, maybe 2 seasons ago, it can actually crit. So, you know, having them crit all the way down the line can be awful for the side of Chimaera. We are maybe seeing a play happen around this dragon here. Both teams, I think, want this dragon, but it is going to be Chimaera that have overall the most control over it. But do you think that we might be seeing a play around the mid lane to try and get this tower, maybe?
Like, right now, Hydra, they're just going to be focusing, pushing out this top lane turret. This is the tier 2, that is, as the tier 1 has been already taken. And so, as a result of that, was it the Air Drake? Yeah, it was the Air Drake. Just goes uncontested for Chimaera, which is pretty nice for them. It allows for much smoother rotations, especially for someone like a Galio, who has that semi-global map ultimate. Now, Braveheart, yeah, he's just doing Urgot things, really. You said that he is a split-pushing monster, and I definitely agree with that in this scenario. Just able to freely hit away and away on that turret.
Well, Benja just casually going into the tower. That's going to take a lot of damage actually from Hibian. Hibian might be looking to use the on the hunt there to try and chase after Benja, but Benja does have that frozen tomb. So Hibian's going very deep for something that probably won't end up happening. We are seeing, you know, Benja's able to just walk away from that. The on the hunt being used there a little bit too early, or maybe even too late, you could say.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking in the sides of like towers-wise, both being equal on towers, but I think tower damage definitely goes towards Hydra. The mid lane tower is almost half HP, bot lane tower is below half HP, and the top lane tower is also half HP, and that's the second tier.
Yeah, that's the second tier, definitely, but Chimaera playing way better right now in this early game. And it makes sense, they're in an even position now, but still, they're getting out-farmed, really, by someone like Braveheart, by someone like Van Vorks, and now I'm still holding my breath in Braveheart. It's still a terrifying situation to be here. However, he does have Benja around himself, so it can be something that they can look to utilize. As now, they are drawing out 2 people from Chimaera into this top lane, which allows for them to try and find pressure on the other side of the map. Nizik, in the meantime, got chunked for quite a bit.
Yeah, maybe Benja jumping onto Hibian. Hibian is going to get stunned by Benja there, but we are going to see the Frozen Tomb going back down onto Hibian with the Galio.
Oh, that's a...
Heroes entering straight onto Benja. Benja's going to take him very low. Benja's going to fall down to Hibian, but just in the last second from the second part of the queue, he's going to be picking up onto Hibian. And then Braveheart's going to be forced to run away. Nizik doing a lot of damage. The Equalizer was able to chunk him down just a bit. Braveheart's having almost slow down HP. Spiller and Rekis now there to maybe even save the tower. We've seen Spiller do these big plays before, and it looks like he's going to go for it again. Rekis jumping straight onto the tower. Over Nizik. Nizik's going to get knocked up by Spiller. The Frozen Tomb going back down to Rekis. Spiller is able to get a lot of damage. There we go, Pompo jumping onto Rekis. There we go, Rekis is going to fall down. Pompo with a really nice play. Badger and Jugs going to be able to kill. Spiller out of position here, and it looks like he's going to be looking down, but Braveheart looking to use a TP to try and save this tower here. A lot of members falling down for the side of Hydra there.
And such a nice play for Chimaera as well. They waited for Reckitt to utilize all of his mobility. They waited for him to get the rocket jump as well as a flash off. And after that, it was just easy kill for Prompo. He jumped over the wall and managed to secure that kill for themselves. The thing is, they expended so many resources that now it's Vanborg's in town for the bot lane. He's playing this Kassadin, and let's just look at the replay. So, well, it is Benji just jumping in, and he in the end manages to get a kill onto Hivian, but it was way too late, and that's because Braveheart missed his ultimate because Godquai was there to block it. So Hivian in the end dies to the Q of Silas. However, now 2 teleports have been expended, a good rotation, albeit a bit too late from Chimaera. They now keep on going for the chase. Braveheart being chased under his own turret. Nizik had gone back into his base to go and try and go for this play. So Hydra, they return. They try to go for something here. Now Reckitt jumps in. Doesn't have rocket jump yet. He's taunted, he's taunted, he's taunted. He flashes away. No rocket jump on him. And so Prompo comes over this wall, easily knocks Reckitt down and blows him up. And well, he's able to just run away as he cancels the ultimate, and not much happens after that. Also, Ulrich Spieler dies, but that's because he's overextended. I feel like that's just a trademark story for this entire game.
That is how a lot of Chimaera's kills have come about. But you know, they're 3 kills ahead, but they're still behind on gold.
Yeah.
By about 800, just about, give or take.
Yeah, they are, and that's because, again, like, if you look at the top lane, there was a 70 CS discrepancy. It's not pretty. It's not a pretty thing to look at, especially when you count in the fact that Nizik was supposed to be having that top lane pressure from all of those early kills. Sure, he got ganked a couple of times, but again, he just didn't pay enough attention to warding, and that's a really big misplay, giving all of this CS deficit away, because now Urgot is super tanky. He's got that, he's got the armor, and he does have that amounting amount of magic resist.
A little bit out of position there. He takes a bit of damage, but sorry, go on what we're saying. How about the Urgot?
No, that's it. He just has magic resist and armor. So, if you look at some,
actually, Righteous Glory being built for him, which I don't know how good Righteous Glory is. Can you just expand on that? Because I don't know how good the Righteous Glory actually is on Urgot nowadays.
Okay, so generally you always tend to rush Black Cleaver first, and then you can choose between some either more supportive items or more offensive. I actually really like Righteous Glory as a second rush item on Urgot because it gives you a lot more agency in these fights because you can set up them up much better.
Gonna get taunted, the massive engage, we're gonna see the equalizer.
Oh my god, that is so...
Jumping in with them, a big Cataclysm is gonna be able to take down Benja, but also Prompo is gonna fall down in the doing. We're gonna see Van Bogen coming in from the backline. Nizik's gonna be very low. Van Bogen's gonna get killed, so Nizik, Hivian trying to get away from this one. The heals are not gonna be enough. Van Bogen's gonna jump straight onto his Reckitt there as well. And looks like Hivian's gonna get very low. Van Bogen falling down to God Badge. Reckitt's still there as well. Hivian not going to die to the bomb, and looks like Reckitt isn't going to be able to get the kill onto God Badge, but we are going to see Badger on drugs. He could be trying to go over this wall, maybe looking to get an engage onto Reckitt. Reckitt is very low. He does not want to stay here for much longer. Whether we are going to see Hivian trying to run away from this
behind him.
Coming in front of the backline, but we are seeing Braveheart actually soloing the mounted jug in there. We are going to see a big engage. Reckitt is going to get the bomb onto God Badge. God Badge is going to take a lot of damage to this tower. He's going to be forced to flash away, but the bomb's not going to be able to kill him off. Hivian also getting quite low, but Braveheart's also, taking that mountain drake on the side, which is a really nice timing for him there.
And I feel like a miscommunication just happened on the side of Hydra, because Alice Reckitt should have known that Badger on drugs does not have access to the ultimate. He paid so much respect for him in the end, and it caused Old Xpela to, well, die for no real reason. He got a good flank off, but Reckitt played with way too much respect there, so in the end, not much happened. However, a big fight for Chimaera that came through as well. They were able to find that mid lane turret, which opens up the map quite a bit. However, the Mountain Drakes did go for Hydra, so a bit unfortunate. So let's see how this fight actually begins. So it's Bencher walking up to Godfrey. They want to fight. However, they're fighting in a choke point, and they're fighting against Nizik's equalizer. This ultimate is so huge, it hits everyone, and Prompo comes through with one more AoE damage in the Cataclysm. Reckitt, look where he is. He's not actually auto-attacking right now. He's super far back because he's afraid of the CC. However, that doesn't really matter as Van Berksen loops around the entire backline, kind of just casually murders Nizik, and he tries to chase for more, but Godquai comes up clutch here. He pretty much solo saves Hivian as he manages to taunt the Kassadin up. Hivian then goes for a turn, and Galio just quickly secures that kill. Now, what you're gonna see is a bit sad. So, remember, Lysandra doesn't have access to the ultimate. Rekits is far away, far away, far away. Oholig Spila goes in. Badger just kind of threatens him. He jumps away, and right now you have Alistar fighting into 3 people alone. That's a bit unfortunate. However, to sort of loop ourselves back, the bot lane tier 2 turret has been taken down by Kassadin, and now Baron buff dance starts, as finally these teams can go for the vision.
Yeah, you know, this Baron play is going to be really big. You know, all this, the second tower being taken down at only 26 minutes into this game. Well, I say only, I mean, like, I don't like, it's been quite a while, and 27 minutes, 5 towers going down overall, and this Baron is really going to be the game changer, because right now it's very equal between these two teams. These fights that we see generally come off as an even trade for both teams, and I think from what we've seen, this Baron will just change the game completely. Yeah. Usually Baron changes the game, but this will be, I think, almost the decider, because that will then show which team is going to come out on top of these fights, and will force the team off for so long that it will give them such a big gold lead, because right now the gold is basically the same. You know, 300 gold difference, it's really nothing. So this Baron play is going to be the play. We are going to see the equalizer going off to Braveheart, though. He's very out of position. Hivian is there as well. Hero's entrance is going to come down. A few ultimates actually being popped for Braveheart there, but Braveheart is going to get shut down by Prompo, and now they're going to move on to this Baron. This Baron is going to start to get burst down. Hivian doing a lot of damage to it. Rekits coming in from the side with Spiller, but you know, they don't have either the mid laners both in the bot lane. They do have Benjo, which could go for the steal potentially. Really nice redemption, actually, is going to heal up the team by a lot there. Braveheart is, not Braveheart, sorry. Van Borg is going to use its TP to get in. A massive knockout from Spiller is going to get 3 members knocked up. Rekits is going to want to back off. Frogbo's taking a lot of damage. Benji jumping in as well. We are going to see the TP coming out from the bot lane by Badger, which is going to get taken down by Nizix. Is going to be the first to go down in this fight. And we're going to see Spiller is going to be the second to go down. 1 hit for each team, but the side of Chimaera are very low now. Benji going to get jumped on, and both kills going down. We're going to see Prompo is going to get taken down as well as Benja, and it looks like Hydra are going to go for this mid lane tower here, but Badger's there to try and stop it. The Frozen 2 potentially could be coming down.
Oh my god.
The Frozen 2 actually not being available, the root be going down, and Van Borg is going to take a lot of damage jumping onto Badger. Godbag is there.
Oh my lord.
Godbag is actually going to survive just long enough, but we are going to see Van Borgen, and we're going to see Badger and Jugs fall down. We're also going to see Cannons on the left hand side, and we're going to see Braveheart also getting taken down by Hivian with a nice little double kill to win out that trade, the 5 for 3.
And Van Borgsen with the clean mechanics on this Kassadin picks himself up another kill, but well, it is a clean ace still for the side of Chimaera. Now, this entire team fight starts out with Braveheart getting caught out at the blue buff, which results in a very, very quick catch, which was very unfortunate. However, the thing to keep in mind here is that Redemption still heals people for a lot, that's sure. However, Rekits has been able to just get into this backline, as the Chimaera right now were a bit on the uncertain side. The teleport got cancelled by Kassadin, and then that resulted in a late TP from Lissandra as well. Now the Baron buff starts once again by the side of Chimaera.
The Chimaera really want to force out this Baron. They know how important it is for their team, but they don't have Lissandra there. But also on the side of Hydra, they don't have the team there. We are going to see the blue team is going to take the Baron Nashor though, and we are going to see Benja fall down in the meantime. Shutdown goal going to Prompos. This is really big. You know, the Baron now for 3 minutes and 30 seconds, this Baron's going to be atrocious for the sides of Hydra. Oh, yeah. Chimaera are going to do so much with this Baron now, and with that little pick onto Benja, has given Prompo, obviously having 7 kills already, and has received a lot of shutdowns so far this game, and he's gone very, very heavily AD based. So he's going to be doing a lot of damage, especially to Rekits, who's been wasting, I think, the rocket jump far too much this game, and has actually, you know, lost a lot of fights because of that rocket jump being used early. But we're going to move into this replay here. Can we take us through the replay?
Well, sure, we're just waiting on Benji to just come into the Baron pit. Godquay tried to cancel the jump of Benji, but it was perfectly timed for the Silas. However, he was unable to get the smite, and in the end, well, it was just a quick Baron buff. Now,
there we go, see
what is Chimaera doing?
Also getting taken down by Rekits, but there we go, the Frozen Tomb almost taking out Rekits in the top lane, but then we go to the top lane, Hivian and
Chimaera!
Van Borgen doing so much damage, going to take down Hivian. Badger on Jugs is very, very low, but also
oh my god, no way.
Braveheart can be able to get the kill, and Godbag is going to try and go for the 1v2, isn't going to be able to do what Godbag is probably, the Godbag's going to fall down, and Ace actually going for the side of Hydra. They didn't take any kills from that. It all started off from the dragon play. You know, both teams sort of wanted to go for this Mountain Drake. It's going to be quite a big dragon, but, you know, Braveheart started to get caught out, but the amount of damage he actually did to Prompo allowed him to carry on this engage just long enough through the equalize, and that ended up getting Prompo taken down. Nizik now getting feared, just Wreck-It and Braveheart bursting him down the Frozen Tomb from Badger to try and save the day just at the end, getting Wreck-It very low back into the top lane, where we did see Hivian get blown up by the side of Van Borgen, and then Godbag was just in a 1v2 versus Van Borgen and, you know, Benja. But, you know, also down there, we did see another kill picked up, which resulted in a Mountain Dragon and the ace for Hydra, really starting to turn around this game after that Baron play.
This was just difficult to watch, honestly, because that's not something that you can do when you're Chimaera. You may be going for that dragon buff, sure, but you still have to realize you have the scaling part. You cannot be going for these even fights. Now another
the hero's entrance jumping onto Prompo as he engages Spieler. Spieler's forcing to use the flash away. The Cataclysm is going to pull Spieler back in. All five members of Chimaera here trying to take down Spieler. You know, the flash and the ultimate was popped, but for the Cataclysm and the hero's entrance for the side of Chimaera though.
And this game is turning out to be a lot more chaotic than the last one. I think we can safely assume that. Hydra now, they have to do something about this mid lane turret. Wreck-It is going to be coming up, so they can definitely try and defend this objective together in just 4 people.
And just the equalizer is going to pop the equalizer to try and take out that menu wave of Van Borgen jumping onto Godbag. The redemption coming down in the massive equalizer. It's going to be a huge engage. They're going to win this fight very, very well, very clean. 2 kills going down for Chimaera. There is only now 2 members defending this last turret before the inhibitor, and you know, no kills actually going down for the side of Hydra, which is going to be really, really bad. Only Godbag took a lot of damage. They really focused Godbag in that fight. Looks like they're going to start converging onto the top lane when they have 2 super minions coming in. They might look out to try and end out this game here. Braveheart and Van Borgen down, looking like they're going to try and get one more pick, maybe onto Wreck-It. They have not got the Frozen Tomb available. In fact, none of the ultimates are available right now. Godbag is going to tank a lot of damage. The first turret's going to go down. The big Cataclysm from Silas is going to have a lot of members in. Wreck-It on the side is going to start blowing them up one by one. Wreck-It is going to do so much damage in this fight. Badger on drugs is going to take down. Wreck-It is also going to be taken down by the side of Hivian, and it looks like Chimaera are going to take the second game of the series in comparison to Hydra, making this 1-1 going into game number 3.
And a lot more chaotic this game than the first one. Chimaera definitely weren't on the giving end at the very beginning of the game. Instead, it was sort of them receiving and then trading blows 1-for-1 with Hydra. However, they were able to get that Baron buff, which you assessed properly. Well, it turned them the game in their favor, and they were able to just cleanly close it out in the end with their proper team fighting. That Hydra, they made way too many mistakes. Old Xpila getting caught out so many times. Braveheart in the top lane. He did, you know, relatively well, but still, way too many mistakes on Hydra for Chimaera not to pick up on them, and so, still good to see them punish them properly.
Yeah, a really, really well played from Chimaera, especially an improvement from last game. We saw a lot more dragon control, and we saw them playing the game a lot better, but that is going to finish it from us for game number 2. Make sure to stay tuned for game number 3. This is a big game. I've been really, really excited. I'll see you guys in the next game, game number 3.
It's Welcome to the wild, no heroes and villains. Welcome to the war, we've only begun. So pick up your weapon and face it. There's blood on the ground, go and take it. You get one shot to make it out alive. So higher and higher you chase it. It's deep in your bones, go and take it. This is your moment, now is your time. So prove yourself and rise, rise. Make them remember you. Push through heaven. Rise, rise. They will remember you. Welcome to the climb up, reach for the summit. Visions break, the one false step lead the end. So higher and higher you chase it. It's deep in your blood, go and take it. This is your moment. Take to the skies, go prove yourself and rise, rise. Make them remember you. Push through heaven. Rise, rise. They will remember you.
Hello everybody and welcome back to game number 3 of this series. We have SRG Hydra versus SRG Chimaera here, and you know, it's been a 1-to-1 in this series so far. 2 incredible games, very close games in both. I'm here co-casting today with Karen, which is going to be my color casters for today. Karen, would you like to say hey?
What's the day again, man? Like, hey, how's it going? Well, I'm Karen, yeah.
I say for today, but you know, I've been casting with you these past these past 4 best of 3s that I've done. So
yes, and also the past 2 very good games.
Yeah, incredible.
Good segue. So Chimaera, they managed to take the second game through some ingenious team fighting and forcing Hydra to borderline int. So we're gonna have to see if they're gonna be able to replicate that in this third game. No, but on a bit more of a serious side, Hydra made a lot of hiccups and made a lot of mistakes in the second game. Most namely, I feel like Reckitt's didn't really show up to the plate as his Tristana, as he was playing really far back and wasn't really able to affect any of these team fights, and in the end it wasn't anyone on this Hydra that could really affect them, as no one was in the position to do so. Van Borgsen had a really nice game on Kassadin, however, but still they weren't able to enter complete late game, and so they were unable to completely close out the second game.
Yeah, you know, and we're seeing the same bans basically for Hydra. The Xerath is the first ban, and I'm guessing we're going to see Zoe as the second ban here, because this is what they've done in the first couple of games. We're also going to see the Rek'Sai ban for Chimaera here, which, you know, they banned out with the last 2 games as well. I'm guessing it's more of a comfort pick for Benja.
Yeah, that's what I would assume, right? Because, I mean, it could be also a comfort pick as well as just, you know, being a really nice pick, because again, I've said this before the first game started, but Rek'Sai is definitely one of the best early game junglers in the meta right now, so it makes sense that they still take her away from someone like Benja, who has been playing super aggressively. It has backfired and shot him in the kneecaps a couple of times, but still, you know, he's been very proactive. The fact that he overextends quite a bit is sort of a bad side effect. Actual Rumble taken away from Isaac makes sense. He's had a really nice game, and finally Chimaera also differentiate their bans a little by taking away the Vladimir.
Yeah, we did see the Vladimir pop off in the first game from Isaac, so, and it really does prove the power of how good Vladimir actually is overall in the split. And, you know, it being proven in the first game, obviously, you know, Chimaera banning it out anyway, but it's such a strong pick. It really is one of those things.
Oh, hell yeah.
And Kennen is back. Braveheart back onto Kennen, which we saw incredible from last game. Would you like to bring us through that a little bit? So
the first game, Braveheart pretty much completely took it over. He got a lot of solo kills onto Nizing. He was able to carry the team fight because he was playing AP Kennen, who presses one button and essentially deletes the health bars of anyone on the opposing team. So let's see if he's going to see... Sorry. been a long day. Let's see if he's going to be having any luck with doing that this game as well. On the other hand, we're likely going to be seeing Brompo on that Jarvan pick again. He's had quite a performance. A lot of nice gangs developed from him. Likely will be playing around with a Cho'Gath. Alright.
That's a different pick. We don't really see Cho'Gath pick, especially in this high level play. We did see it actually in the Himrod game, which was over on the other stream. We did see Cho'Gath picked with Yorick mid, and if that isn't enough to say about who picks Cho'Gath, then you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Cho'Gath isn't a very isn't often picked, and I think for good reason. Doesn't have incredible engage, you know, doesn't have amazing damage. It has good damage, but isn't incredible. I don't think Cho'Gath's overall very strong pick in the current meta as well, and Lucian there to sort of counter that, having a lot of tank bursting material in his kit, especially with the build that he goes for as well.
Well, tank bursting, I wouldn't precisely say that on Lucian, but could technically be.
He goes to the Black Cleaver, he goes to the Bulk, you know, I think...
I mean, yeah, but to be fair, if he ever reaches Cho'Gath in the late game where he has to sort of burst him down, Cho'Gath just eats his head off. So, I mean, you know, that kind of happens. The thing where Cho'Gath is the most vulnerable is his laning phase, and I'm very scared of him because Kennen Cho'Gath is a very bad matchup for Cho'Gaths. And given that Braveheart was able to completely bully Nizik out, even in a decent matchup like Kennen into a Vladimir, I'm a bit scared. I'm a bit scared for Nizik, unless it's gonna be Cho'Gath in the mid lane.
I think, personally, that it actually might be Jarvan top and Cho'Gath potentially in the jungle, maybe.
Now, I haven't seen that in a while. I haven't seen that be played in a while. It would be a nice change of pace, but I feel like either mid lane or top lane is the only thing where he fits, at least meta-wise now. Morgana also picked up. Can be going into that mid lane potentially as well, however likely going to be piloted by Gothic in that bot lane. We're gonna have to see where it's gonna go. The Hydra haven't really showed their cards onto their junglers just yet, and that's why you're seeing this Kha'Zix ban being picked up. I feel like the only thing that Benja really struggles with is overextending, which isn't really champion reliant, so hey, you can't really ban someone out who just ints, right?
Okay.
No, okay. You know,
I wouldn't go as far as to say Benja ints.
Okay.
But he does get caught out more than not.
Yes, he overextends, unfortunately, which caused a lot of kills to happen onto him. Caitlyn actually taken out from Hydra. A bit of an interesting pick. They just take something away from Hivian, who's hovering a Vayne.
That's an interesting one.
Okay.
That's a really interesting one, and I really want to see it happen now.
And this is also interesting because, okay, so right now Chimaera are thinking, okay, we're likely going to be going into that Galio support. We have seen that be played by Spila this game, this series already. Or wait, was it actually Godplay playing it? I'm a bit unsure right now.
The Galio support was played by Godvibes last game.
Yeah, so my memory is that of a goldfish apparently. But regardless, they're thinking, okay, we're gonna be going into Galio, and it's actually a really good matchup for Vayne to be going into Galio in the bot lane because she can just condemn him away, and she can really easily just chew through him with that, with the Silver Bolt. So, really nice pickup for them. Xin Zhao now also the jungler for Hydra, and they're just reverting back to the overly aggressive early game.
Yeah, and also Hivian is picking a really nice Vayne against Bender as well, because obviously Vayne is able to roll out of Lucian's Q, before it goes off, which is a lot of Lucian's damage, especially in that early game. So it actually gives Vayne a bit of a, you know, a heads up against that. We also see the Orianna pick as well, showing a very, very sort of team fighty comp with Kennen, Galio, and Orianna in the side of Hydra. But the problem I'm finding here is that most of their teamfight damage, well, basically all of it besides Benja really, is going to be coming from AP sources, which means that a bit of magic resist in the side of Chimaera mean that the combo with the Slicing Maelstrom and the Shockwave from Orianna isn't going to be as effective.
Well, to be fair, okay, here's my thesis. They have a Xin Zhao and Lucian, which is AD, and then they have Orianna and Kennen, which is quite devastating because you're going to get that Kennen into the enemy's front line, or generally in the middle of their team, which is actually going to open up the front line for Rekits to be able to close the distance and get into a striking shot range without actually being blown up instantly. So I would actually say that they have a nice little mixture of damage, which is going to cause this itemization from Nizik become a little bit more difficult for this poor Cho'Gath. Now, You mentioned that Hydra was playing on the other stream. I want to point out to people at home that, well, it was indeed Broken Squad taking the second game against Hydra Jr. So, hey, it's just something to keep in mind, as we have a 1-1 on our hands.
Yeah, we do have a bit of a tie record. Both games being very long. One of them was 40 minutes and the other one was about 50-ish, I think, right?
I think so. Like, the first one was like 42. I think, and the second one was like 40. Yeah, it was pretty.
Yeah, okay, both 40s. Okay,
pretty long.
One of them was 50, but now, though, you know, I actually think the Ari pick is different. I've not.
Yes.
Like, you know, it's different from what we've seen from these teams so far. Obviously, same with the Cho'Gath, but you know, Ari's one of those things where it's always kind of a standard pick in the meta. It's never bad. I don't think Ari's ever bad in a specific meta. I think she can always be okay. I don't think she's ever like a bad pick, honestly.
Ooh, I know a lot of people who would disagree with you there. The thing with Ari, right? Like, okay, you would say that about something like a Zed, right? Because, well, Zed is always kind of good. It's just very difficult to slot him into many, compositions. Ari is super reliant on snowballing, more so than Zed, because she's not really powerful in a side lane, and so it actually is much more difficult to slot her into competitive play. So what we can expect from this is that Prompo is likely just gonna be sitting on this mid lane, make sure that Badger can get those kills on this Ari, because if he isn't able to do that, unless he's running the Glacial Augment, which we cannot really see just yet, it's gonna be so difficult for him to be ever useful in any sort of situation in the game.
Well, no, because you know the charm's always useful. You know, it's a charm. It's one of the
But yeah,
most
but
powerful
then you
forms
get
of
like
CC in the
200 damage, so you become a scale shot CC machine. Which
I feel like Ari's still good, even if Ari doesn't like get the good start to the game. I think Ari can still be quite useful because it's one of those mid laners with CC.
It depends on the rune. If you go for a Glacial Augment, it actually is much easier for Ari to be useful. If you go for Electrocute, then she is really reliant on snowballing, but yeah, she can still be pretty useful in the mid game. I'm going to be really looking at how this team decides to utilize her, because as you said, she's not something that we see too much of. However, into Orianna, it can be a matchup that can sway in her favor, as long as Badger plays it safely and doesn't int before the 6th level, then he should be able to find a kill or two on Van Borgsen, especially with Prompo in the mid lane as well.
Yeah, definitely. You know, however, you know, Benj is picking up that very early game oriented ganking sort of jungler in Xin Zhao, most likely. Yeah. With Hail of Blades as well, which is really good for getting those 3 auto attacks to get the knock up very early on. And we see this a lot from, you know, sort of like, I don't see this a lot in higher elo play. I don't see it a lot in competitive play is what I mean.
Yeah.
Which is, it's a really different pick, which I kind of like. Same with the Cho'Gath. It's a different pick, which I think works in solo queue really well. But we're going to see how it translates into this competitive scene. Because, you know, these really sort of cheesy early game ganks aren't as effective competitively because there's more wards, there's more communication, there's more people to say not to do something rather than solo queue where you're just left to your own device.
Yeah, essentially. So, and something that we have been seeing from both these teams as well is actually really good levels of communication. We always see good vision control from both of these lineups as soon as we move into the mid game, because before that, we have seen someone like Nizik just disrespecting the jungler way too much after getting a few kills and not covering his jungle enough. But as soon as it comes to actual objective control, both these teams are really synergized. Like, I'm a bit surprised by that. The only thing that I think is throwing the wrench into Hydra's plans more specifically is the fact that Benja is the new player and that he is a hot blood substitute jungler, which means that he wants to be going for plays when there isn't anyone nearby, and as a result of that, he once again just gets caught out and killed, but that is something that will likely be ironed out in time.
Yeah, definitely. You know, both of these teams very, very well matched. And I think this is arguably, actually, I genuinely think so far out of all the games that I've casted for Sincerity Gaming, I think this is the closest one that I've seen so far. Obviously, you and me casted one last, I think Thursday, was it? That was 2 really, really long games.
Oh, Major Militia and Eastern Wizards?
Yeah, Major Bullish and Eastern Wizards.
The Amumu Pentakill? Yeah.
AP Amumu Pentakill.
Yes.
If anyone's not seen it, you need to go back and watch it. It's a sight to behold. But we are going to load into this game here, and we're going to see Hydra again, what they did on blue side last game. They're going to go back into that bottom bush, and they're all going to hide again.
However, Chimaera, they aren't really coming out, guns blazing. They're just, once again, setting up in a very safe way. Again, they don't really want to be going for too many opportunities, at least as of the start right now. They want to be doing that as soon as Badger unlocks his level 6, because after that point, he can actually chase Van Borgsen down. Van Borgsen does have cleanse, and so he's going to be able to escape from the charm, but he's not going to be able to escape from Badger as he is just constantly on his tail. So after that level 6, something can happen because Prompo, he just needs the flagon track to be able to secure a kill in the mid lane.
Yeah, you know, the flagon track is quite an effective combo. We've seen it through almost every single meta that we've seen Jarvan. We've seen Jarvan in the LCS, we've seen Jarvan in the LEC, and, you know, the flagon track is really the only, I think, is one of the few abilities that works, like, it's hard to explain, but, like, is one of the few two abilities that work well with each other in that sort of way. Like, it works with, well, if this is this, then you can do this sort of thing. I don't think we see that on many other abilities in the game. Do you know what I mean?
As in, like, a combo of abilities?
Yeah, it's like a combo that literally just states in the name, not like an Ari charm followed by Ari Q. Like, it literally says, if you can use it on the flag to do this. I don't think we see that many abilities in the game like this.
Oh, as in, like, with a specific name for them? Yeah.
In the ability, we don't see many of those in the game, which is one of those things which like, kind of makes Jarvan different to a lot of other champions. That sort of flag drag sort of thing.
In a sense, and you can also use it in several ways, like engage, trying to run away, stuff like that. Since we are already speaking of the man, he's just clearing out a Skullcrab in the bot side jungle. I don't think that we can really expect much of the teams right now. I am, however, going to be paying my attention to this top side river where Benja can get collapsed.
Actually been caught out by the pixel bush here. Badger on drugs and Prompo moving down. Nizek is there as well. The flash flag and drag is going to get a Benja caught out just a little bit. The charm as well. First blood actually going to Badger on drug to start this game. 2 minutes 30. First blood.
And this is just such a lovely start for Badger right now, getting that early first blood in. Perfect utilization of the vision. And Benja, once again, he overextends. He spots that it's Badger and Prompo in the mid lane grouping together, moving into the top side river. And he doesn't run away immediately. Instead, he goes for that Scuttle Crab, and that, in the end, gets him killed. So, a bit of an damn it. A bit of an unfortunate turn of events. Oh, that's so close. Oh my god, Braveheart!
We're going to show to Nizek. Braveheart jumping straight in. Nizek's going to get taken down by Braveheart. An incredible outplay. Really just a nice move to flash in, knowing that Nizek didn't have the Q up, knowing he wouldn't be able to turn that engage around. It was just so much IQ.
I am completely numb from that. Oh my god, that was such a good outplay from Braveheart, playing to the maximum edge of his champion, realizing that he's ranged and that Cho'Gath is not. He survived with what it was, 11 HP or so. So, Nizek, he goes in, yeah, so...
Oh, that HP! That has to be something like 5. But the turnaround, because of that tower shot, was able to get him a really nice play onto that. And landing that auto attack with the passive proc on it was enough to get the stun to be able for him to pick up that kill. The cannon minion bringing him so low as well was just enough for him to get that kill.
Very unfortunate for Nizek, but very fortunate, on the other hand, for Braveheart. And if there is a telltale sign that a lane is going well, is that if the team that has won has always had the top lane winning for themselves, so already Hydra on a good roll to get themselves that lead. However, something that we actually haven't seen being done this early on in the series just yet is a jungle difference, and Prompo already has double the amount of CS over Benja. He does have a level up on him, and so he's on a really good roll to try and secure even more of these ganks for his lanes.
Yeah, I am having a few connection issues, so if there is a play, you are going to have to quickly do a play-by-play while I sort this out.
It's okay, so Prompo ran over to the bot lane, however... The bot lane of Hydra are actually good at keeping their vision wards up. Now Niza getting chunked down by Braveheart in that top lane, has to run away under his turret, just nearly avoiding the flash. No TP on this poor Cho'Gath monster either, so he's gonna get his back absolutely skewered by this. Benja is trying to find something in return, but Hydra unable to really find anything, as both of these bot laners have their vision set up almost flawlessly.
I think I might just be able to reconnect here, and there we go. Okay.
All right, welcome back.
It's working just a little bit better. I say a little bit better.
It's okay.
Okay, maybe not, but like, you know, it's going okay. It's going better.
That's good. That's good. Well, you know, good enough, I suppose, for now.
Good enough, but you know, we've seen a Hextech Revolver. We saw how much of a big increase that did for. We did see how much of a big increase that was for Braveheart in the first game. We saw how good that was. We are going to see an engage here. Propo jumping onto Spieler with the flag, and Drag is going to get Spieler into a really nasty position. Hawaiian's going to be able to pick up the kill onto Spieler, which is going to give him a really nice little lead there, and it's actually going to give him a lot towards this game, especially as a Vayne.
And once again, these early kills just going through for Chimaera, but Hydra always having the upper hand because they're again just out farming them. Benja jumping in now.
Yeah, and engaged there. We're going to see Godbag going to get taken quite low.
That's such a nice turnaround.
He's going to get taken down. Pompo's going to get a really nice little smite just to finish him off at the end there. Really nice play. That's 3 kills towards Chimaera here. And there we go. Badger jumping over the wall. A really nice dodge from Van Broggen to miss that first one away. But there,
oh my lord.
Really nice Ignite ultimate to get the pick up the kill there. Slicing Maelstrom in the top lane. Nice is going to be taken very low. Braveheart is going to be able to pull a lot of damage out from this Hextech Revolver. Nizik getting taken very low. Braveheart's probably going to be able to kill here across the map. Braveheart now, you know, 2 kills up on Nizik, but we are seeing 2 kills up on Badger, and a kill up on Hawaiian, and a kill up on Prompo.
And the teams are just trading blow for blow right now. They're saying, alright, we have had enough of clean macro games. This third one is gonna be very, very explosive. Already 6 kills in 7 minutes. These teams are looking to blow this game out of the water. Badger and Drux manages to get a second kill in the mid lane, playing that one out so patiently. Very lovely to see that mastery on that Ahri, who is now going to be able to completely snowball out of any reasonable proportions, really.
Yeah, and we are actually seeing Benja going for that early dragon like he did on Kha'Zix, and it's going to be an Infernal Dragon. And are we going to see the 3 mountains and 2 Infernals that we saw for the side of Hydra in the first game?
Possibly.
Maybe we might just... Well, this next dragon to be coming up will be a Mountain Drake. It is following the same sort of scheme as we saw in the first game for Hydra. If we weren't there, Benja was able to pick up 5 dragons, and then the Elder with those 5 dragons, 3 of them being Mountain, 2 of them being Infernal, really did end up getting them a big win in that game.
And well, let's see if they're able to repeat history with this game as well. They're on a good roll to achieve that. They do have the pressure in the top lane. The thing that they're going to be struggling with is finding any reasonable amount of pressure in the mid lane, as Badger on Drugs has so much kill pressure that he just forces Van Morkson out of the lane. He has that lost chapter over onto Orianna, and while Orianna is still able to freely clear these minion waves out, as soon as Badger decides to just pressure him, he has to fall back, because right now this Ahri is just that scary.
Braveheart actually being 2 levels up on Nizik and having such a big item difference because of this, almost doubling the CS and having 2 kills has given them such a big lead that Nizik just cannot play this lane. He's having to stand at the edge of his tower with the minions in the middle of the lane, farming with his Q, because as soon as Braveheart just gets next to him, the slicing Maelstrom, which might end up happening now. We're going to see him getting taken very low. Nizik jumping, taking a lot of damage. The slicing Maelstrom from Broken Heart. How is he going to get over the tower? Okay, Nizik going to get Braveheart very low. However, he's also getting very low himself. The minions under the tower, and Nizik might be taken down by Braveheart here, but Braveheart looks like he's just going to go for the
Brombo is here.
The Brombo is indeed here. Oh, I'm having a lot of lag, so...
It's okay, so Prompo coming in with the flag attack, flashes forward, trying to chase this squirrel down. Braveheart just at the edge of the Cataclysm range, does get jumped on top of, gets stunned however. I'm unsure if that is something going to happen in the top lane, and in the end, it is Draven falling over to the hands of Braveheart. However, in the meantime, Badger was able to assert his kill pressure in the mid lane and get this Orianna down as well. A lovely 2-for-1 overall on the map for Chimaera.
We're also seeing the bot lane are pushing, 2 plates there. Like it's a good lead. They really kind of did want that on the Lucian, especially after losing that little fight earlier. Godbag actually taken very, very low from the Lucian there. Wreckage jumping straight back in onto Hivian, which is looking at Hivian really low as well. Badger on drugs almost actually taking down the tower. He's going to like the last couple plates here, only at 10 minutes as well. Not really much help for the jungler. Benja taking a lot of damage. Benja.
Oh my god, he might die here.
Yeah. Benja's going to get taken down to the Ignite. Badger on drugs. I was about to say, Benja was very, very further up there. We're going to see Pompo going into the bot lane, jumping straight onto Wreckage. If you use the flag and drag with the flash, he's going to be able to get him away. The Spiller is not going to hit anyone with the torch, but Pompo is going to get taken quite low. The heal onto Spiller is going to get Hawaiian. A little bit of an awkward situation. Spiller going to take him down. Hawaiian is going to get the Ignite onto him though, which means that 3 members of Chimaera are going to get very low, but that is another kill for Hivian, which is going to be huge. Badger picking up
waiting.
Godbag jumping on by Wreckage, which is going to be a huge play. Gonna be able to get a pick nice onto Godvaj right there. 8 kills to 4. However, the gold is very close.
This game is so quick. It's just being accelerated so much by this 4-0 mid lane, this 3-1 top lane, both for the other team. So it's looking like a very exciting game so far. Badger just completely smurfing right now on Van Borksen. It's terrifying.
Absolutely incredible. He's got the Luden's Echo and 4 stacks on that Dark Seal. We're seeing a Dark Seal being bought in one of these games. We've actually not seen that from either team, I don't think, so far in these best of 3. We've not seen it just yet, but here we go. We might be seeing a pick onto Benja. Benja being horribly underleveled, only level 6 at 11 minutes into the game. The supports are a level higher than Benja right now. He's 0-3. He's had a really bad game so far. He looked so promising as well at the start of that Kazakhs game.
Yeah, he was having a nice Kazakhs game, but again, the overextension that was so prevalent in the first 2 games is even more so in the 3rd one. He has been caught out so many times in the first few minutes that, given that Xin Zhao relies so heavily on the early game, it just made the jungling so difficult for him to do. And right now, it's even more difficult as he is almost 30 creeps behind. He has that level disadvantage. And it's not a good look for him, but well, I think he just has to bite the bullet here.
Are going to have a small fight in the jungle there. Benja's going to get popped by a lot of damage there, but the hero's entrance is going to save Benja actually. Benja almost falling down to Pompo there with the Cataclysm. Really nice reactions from Spiller to be actually able to get the hero's entrance just to save Benja in the nick of time. Picking up a really nice pick, but something I'd like to bring attention to is that a lot of the gold for the side of Hydra here are actually in the top lane for Braveheart, and unless Braveheart can solo carry this game, not much is going to come through. We are going to see Wreckage doing a lot of damage to Godbag and Hivian though in the bot lane, forcing him to back off. He's actually been doing really well. A third lane is going to be forced to flash away. So much damage that bolt just being built is going to get him a lot of damage up on Hivian. Because of those plates, we are going to see Badger potentially getting a tower down to the mid lane. Van Bogen and Benja are there though. The charm being hit on Benja, and then oh my lord,
Benja full gold.
Yeah, below half HP actually just by an EQ from Ari. The turret followed down in the mid lane. We're going to see Pompo potentially using his bot lane rackets. He's going to be taken away. He's on half HP. He's not able to fight that at all. The Cataclysm is not available for Pompo though.
And I feel like Wreckage is an entirely different beast when he's on Lucian when compared to being on a hyper carry. Like, ban this guy and ban him his Lucian and he should be good. But if you give him this champion, he's so scary on him. It's really terrifying to watch him play because he's able to completely maximize the damage output of his. Now, Mata Drake being done by Prompo and being traded for in the case of Rift Herald. And I would actually favor the Rift Herald right now because both these teams want to play for the early game, more so in the case of Hydra. And now they're going to be able to do so much easier with this giant Shelly, essentially turret taker in their hands.
Yeah, that's going to be really useful actually on the side of Hydra. They could probably make it look to make a bigger play. There we go.
Oh, that's a good engage.
And the is going to get Godback is going to take him down. Spiller's going to pick up the kill. Hivian could potentially be next, but is going to be let go. We are going to see Benja and Braveheart in the top lane. The slicing maelstrom is going to come down. Nizek, a really nice flash from Benja. Actually getting Nizek to the side, but he's still going to fall down. Nizek isn't going to fall down. A really nice flash to dodge the Q, but into the tower that deep was a really questionable play. Benja's jumping onto Hawaiian. Hivian, sorry, Heavy taking a lot of damage. You're going to hope the ultimate to try and get away from that one. But it does look like Hydra could potentially look to get the tower here. But we do see Badger and Jugs coming in from the side.
Oh, this is terrifying.
I just do not know about this. He has 4 kills. He got a lot of damage. There we go. The big engage. Really nice ultimate plays. But we are going to see Heavy going to fall down. But on the side as well, we're going to see Reckitt is going to get taken down by Badger on Jugs. So not by Badger on Jugs. By Heavy at the same time. Badger on Jugs being able to take down the Spiller. And in the top lane that we did not see was Braveheart able to pick up a kill. We're going to see a replay here. We do see the start of the fight. Braveheart is getting collapsed off by Pompo and Nizik. A really nice play actually onto Nizik. Nizik getting very low, but then Pompo there just in the nick of time to be able to take down Braveheart. Nizik's not on a very, very small amount of HP.
Very, very low, but in the end he manages to survive, and that is what counts. SRG Chimaera just coming up huge in so many of these skirmishes. They still have the objective advantage as well, as they count and put their bot lane turret into their collection. And given that Baron buff won't be spawning for another 4 minutes, it's gonna be much easier for Chimaera to control this map, because they just want to be playing around this bot side of it. And given that there are no objectives for Hydra to hold,
potentially could be seeing that.
Oh my lord, no, goodbye.
Oh, he's gone. He is gone. Oh, the flash heal though.
Oh, he's not gone.
Just really. I spoke way too fast there. I would have thought he would have used the flash or heal already. Getting very low. We're going to see how much damage that's coming out from Badger on Jugs. We are going to see Benja's getting caught out in the mid lane. The hero's entrance is going to come in to try and save Benja. Benja's going to get a big up to God vibe. Benja's going to take it very low. Hivian's not there to be able to do the damage. Hivian's jumping to Alta Spieler. Spieler's going to take a bit of damage, but isn't going to be able to back off. Van Borgen there as well. But Hivian getting very danger close. And there we go. We're going to see Spieler jumping straight on the shockwave to be able to put Prompo back in. Prompo doesn't have the mana to keep engaging with us. And there we go. Van Borgen picking up a good kill there on to Prompo, and they're going to look to try and push this tower here, starting to push this goal lead. There is the Rift Herald. Badger on Jugs looking to get back into this. Nizik there as well. Badger on Jugs coming in from the side. He does have that ultimate. He does have that flash. He can look to make these big plays. Benja's coming in from the sideline. Rift Herald jumping back onto that tower. They're looking that they could converge back onto the top lane tower here. Badger isn't going to go hit, and nor is Nizik going to be there. They're going to look for the second top tower here as well.
And this game is just so back-to-back. Hydra, they were at the deficit, already at a 2k gold lead now. Badger has to be the guy to step up to the plate once again on this Ahri. Hydra, they take everything from Chimaera, but just with one fight, they were able to take the first tier turret in the mid lane, go for the second one and deal half HP to it, take over the map in the top side quadrant as well by taking the tier 2 there, and securing the one as well in the bot lane. Like, right now, Hydra, it's not just Badger that's on drugs, it's Hydra.
Also, I don't know if this is a bug, but I have seen Badger's bounty drop twice so far. It's just come back up again. It's really weird. I don't know what's going on. Just keep an eye on it. It's 450 now.
Okay, so I think it's because of the minions, because the bounty system works. Damn, I know that they changed it. I'm not sure if
depending on how much minions you have ahead of somebody else, but Prompo's going to be engaged on here. Prompo's going to be taking a lot of damage. The flag and drag is going to be able to get him away on a very small amount of HP there, only just. But I think it might just be based on how much CS you have in comparison to other people in the game.
Yeah, I know, but
Badger getting caught out here really
never mind.
badly. We're going to see, oh my, the damage from Benji and Spieler. That's really, really good. I pick onto Badger as well. That's huge. They can start pushing the second tower here.
Yeah, and that's 800 gold now into the pockets of Benja. That is huge, given that he hasn't really been feeling that well, Tony Stark, in this game just yet. Now is going to be able to come back into it at least a tiny bit, even though Xin Zhao falls off pretty hard come late game. He's now at least going to be able to develop some pressure, and given that now Hydra have been able to neutralize any objectives in the mid lane and top lane from Chimaera, that Baron that is going to be spawning up in just 1 minute can likely be taken very, very quickly by Hydra, especially if they take this Mountain Drake.
Yeah, the Mountain Drake the other Mountain Drake earlier did fall down into the side of Chimaera, but looks like Hydra are going to be able to take this Mountain Drake, and like you are saying, it is going to burst down that Baron incredibly. And like you said, also with Benja getting a few kills, even though he isn't going to scale, he's going to have that early game, especially dominant against Prompo with the Slicing Maelstrom. Prompo getting caught out, but is going to be using the Flag and Drag and Flash to be able to get away from that Slicing Maelstrom down for Braveheart here, but you know, he's staying. He's going to try and get this red buff. We are seeing Badger on drugs coming around, though. He does not know there's 3 members converging on him. Hivian's there as well, jumping straight onto Braveheart. He does not have a slicing maelstrom. And then Badger on drugs dealing massive amount of damage to blow up Braveheart there, which is going to stop this, you know, this big Baron play from potentially happening at 20 minutes.
Yeah, and that is just a big overextension from Braveheart once again. He again disrespects the amount of vision that Chimaera have in that jungle, and that he's still playing Kennen, someone who is very squishy, and cannot 1v5 at least that easily just yet. So, the vision, thank you, Mr. Producer, for showing us that. Now, that only control ward is going to be taken down by
Prompo is very, very over... Oh... Okay,
very over.
He's very overextended as well. I was going to say, I paused because I thought he was going to die, but the flag and drag followed by a really nice charm from Badger there, was able to for him to get away. Sorry about the pause. I just
It's okay.
A bit of a mind fart, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's Jarvan. He's got the flag and drag. It's the most unique combo in the game, as you said.
I actually genuinely think it is. I've been thinking about it. I actually can't think of another ability besides maybe Fizz's QW, where if you have the W activated, but I don't know if it just says the Q applies on hit effects. I don't know. I have no clue.
Okay, Alistar Trample Headbutt.
Is it?
Right? That's also good, right? They kind of work together very well, but
it doesn't say it. Like Riot didn't like put it in there and be like, by the way, if you do this, because with the flag and drag, they say.
Oh, right, yeah.
It said in the ability that it's special.
Right, fair.
I see Benji jumping onto Prompo. Prompo is to use a flag and drag once again to get away, but the Benji's not having it this time. He's flashed after him, he's got a knock up, and now we're going to see the taunt from Spiller is going to get the cataclysm to try and box him in for a second. We're going to see Badger on drugs potentially going for a bit of damage. Right?
Oh my god.
Spiller just getting blown up. And I think Galio is meant to be someone that does well against magic damage, not at all apparently in this case.
Yeah, and he has built Redemption first item, so he doesn't actually get any tanky stats just yet.
Oh, Braveheart with a really nice dodge on Isaac's Q there. He's going to get the stun. He could go further for this engage, but having that, you know, those 2 pieces of like magic resist is going to allow him to do a lot of damage. The hero's entrance is going to try and get Braveheart in. The slicing Maelstrom was able to do a lot of damage. Benji is going to be able to kill. There's going to be 5 members now for Hydra in the bot lane in comparison to only 2. Badger's coming down as well. They look like they're going to try and push down this tower before Badger gets here, though. It looks like they definitely are going to be able to. Benji actually has a Guardian Angel as his 2nd main item.
Ooh, that's rough. I mean, if you seasons out Buildad, you know that he's fallen super behind. However, it's actually going to allow him to survive better in these fights. And right now, he essentially wants to be just a CC machine as Badger on drugs tries to go for this squirrel.
Yeah, oh, a really nice shockwave actually coming out from Van Morgan. Badger getting taken a lot of damage, but there we go. Huge play from Records with the culling. Is able to pick up a couple kills. 2 kills now going to Records, which is going to be huge. Actually, it's going to put him on 4 kills, doubling his kills already. It's going to give him a lot more of a bounty as well, and they're going to look to make a play around this Baron now. They've got the Mountain Drake, they've got the Infernal Drake. It's time. It is time for them to unleash all of this might onto Chimaera here, who have 2 members down. They won't be able to fight this if it does get around to fighting it. Now Isaac and Pop over there. Looks like they're going to try and get a ward onto it. There we go. They do have vision. They can confirm that Hydra are doing this Baron now. The Shockwave is not available for this fight, but the Crescent Sweep is available for Benja. We are going to see potentially a play for Records onto Hivian. Hivian is going to back off, though, just a little bit.
Yeah, Hivian just manages to barely scrape by to run away from Records. If he ever fell down, that was going to be the Baron for Hydra, no questions asked, but this way, they don't even get their hands on it, and instead it's Chimaera forcing them off. And the thing right now, when you compare it to like the first game, Hydra could have gone for it then, but that's because they were super far ahead. Right now, they're still 5k gold ahead. However, it's not that drastic. They are definitely still going to win the fight if they manage to kill Badger on drugs. But if anyone on their lineup falls, it's still gonna be pretty goddamn difficult to win it, just because they're pretty even this game. I know that it's weird, okay, 5k gold lead, but you know, relatively in comparison.
Badger on drugs just does so much damage that he can just actually keep up with it. But also, something I like to point out is Isaac doesn't have a lot of vision score. He has 6. at 24 minutes.
Oh no, that ain't good. That just ain't good, Chief. Oh no, that's really bad.
Yeah, we're asking
Okay.
Braveheart look to make a play around the side here. He does have that slicing maelstrom. There we go. He's got 7 now. Never mind. But we're gonna see
Okay.
Braveheart maybe looking to make a play around the backline there with the slicing maelstrom. They are pushing quite far forward round that flanking position, and the Oriana Shockwave is now available for the team to play this out. The hero's entrance also being available. There we're gonna see Xin Zhao jumping in. He's not gonna pop the crescent sweep. We are gonna see the hero entrance being popped. Braveheart jumping around the side. He is ready. He's in position. There goes the charm from Badger. Braveheart has an opening here. He doesn't have the flash up, but he has the mobility from his E to be able to get on this one. But instead, they're going to back off and go for the mountain trade.
Yeah, they're just going for it now, and it's just being chunked down so goddamn quickly. His brethren just helping him to fall down even quicker with the first Mountain Drake. Now, quickly secured by Hydra, pushing out the mid lane wave. They still have control over the vision department around the Baron, so, well, they're just gonna be taking out any of the wards in the outer section of it. Trying to contest this Baron.
Maybe Benji jumping onto Prompo potentially. Nothing's really going to happen of that, but we are also seeing the same dragons actually from last game. Infernals and Mountains only, which is a bit lucky. And, you know, it's worked both times. I feel this is a little bit unfair, because every time Hydra's had good dragon control, it's been the best dragons. But, you know, when Chimaera had great dragon control, it was Cloud Drakes. Ocean Drake. I think
that's what I've been thinking as well.
Yeah, like, you know, it's a little bit of RNG playing into this, but it looks like Nizik is going to get caught out by Spiller and by Benja here. Looks like they're going to go for the engage. Nizik going to take him very low. Hivian's there to go for the engage as well. And then we go. Nizik is going to be the first one to fall down. Spiller's going to use the blast cone to get away. But a really nice stun from Hivian jumping onto the Oriana, and he's going to fall down at the same time as well, though. Xin Zhao coming from the back line to be able to take down the Morgana. But there we go. Badger on Jugs jumping into the team. Going to make up a double kill. Can he make it a double kill? We've got a GA available for Benja. It's not going to be able to come up from much from this. Braveheart is in the bot lane trying to push these towers. We are going to see Benja fall down to the hands of Prompo, though. That is 4 members down for Chimaera, putting them way back into this game.
And, well, Hivian came up clutch in that team fight. He shredded through the health bars of Hydra, then came out and soloed out Van Borgsen. That was a huge turnaround by this man on that vein. Let's see how this fight starts. So Nice gets caught out by Spilla and Benja. So he gets jumped upon because, well, he didn't really see them coming around. Now, Rekits comes around the side, but then decides to go for Nizik as well to help them shred through him. Now, Hivian comes around and starts just free hitting onto Spilla. So, he managed to also just get so much damage, almost completely kills him out. He goes for a 1v1 with Van Borgsen, as in the meantime, Spilla is forced out of the fight. So Hivian, he keeps on going for this fight, however, Rekits is there now. So, he trades his life in order to kill this Oriana, which is actually very important, because with her, they could be able to turn this fight around. This way, Badger is able to just come around, however, from the backline and secure the fight for his team by securing himself a nice lovely triple kill, finishing it off with Benja, who, well, he had this GA as his second item, but, well, didn't really save him this time around.
You know, they played it really well, the side of Chimaera, by not focusing him down, knowing he had that GA, and knowing if he dies, it's really not going to make that much of a difference to the fight. Even though he's got a lot of the kills for his team, it was so much better to focus down Rekits, or to focus down someone like the Oriana in that fight, just to take them out of it. And it was really nicely played, especially from Badger to just jump in at the end and get the double kill for his team, which ended up turning the tides of the fight into their favor, which is really well played from him.
And this is what we need to see more of right now from Badger. He has 3 items finished, building into his 4th one, which looks to be a Banshee's Veil. He has to come up on the flank in every single team fight, because if he doesn't, there is no way that Chimaera can win.
Onto Badger. The hero's entrance is going to be popped to try and keep Badger just alive. The crescent sweep is allowed to stop Hivian from doing that much damage. Badger on Jugs is going to pick up the kill, and another kill is going to be going down to Prompo. The Barons are, you know, they've lost 2 members. One of them being the jungler, one of them being Spiller. You know, again, an overextension from Benja, then also forced Spiller to die with him as well from using the hero's entrance. They can now go for this Baron very safely, which is showing how much of a mistake Benja keeps making by overextending, having 6 deaths out of the 19 that have happened on this team altogether. And, you know, as one man in a 5-man team, having 6 out of the 19 deaths, that's almost a third of the deaths of the world. A big shockwave actually coming out from Van Borgen. However, he's in a little bit of a bad position here. The Galio redemption is going to miss everybody, and Van Borgen is going to try and get away from this one. A really nice dodge from the Morgana, but is going to fall down to Badger on Drugs. We are going to see Wreckage jumping straight onto Nizik, though Nizik's going to take a lot of damage. Braveheart's there as well. It is now the two other members for Hydra have respawned, which does mean that Van Volgen did hold enough time and did enough damage to keep them off that Baron.
And you know who Benja reminds me of? He reminds me of a solo queue player who was kind of entered into a competitive setting, because a lot of the mistakes that happen from him are caused by him, I suppose, not really estimating where the wards are gonna be. He was backing in one of the bushes, and then he kind of died because he didn't think that there was possibly going to be a ward there. But as I said in the second game, both these teams are so good at keeping vision up in their jungle segments, and so as a result of that,
onto Spieler. Spieler's going to get knocked up. He looks like he's going to get caught out. Then knocked up again by Nizik. Braveheart jumping straight onto Hivian on the side, but it might just be getting caught out by the rest of the team. But the flag and drag, he's going to get taken down. Badger's going to get the shutdown. He wasn't able to get the slicing maelstrom through. They're going to be able to go for this Infernal Dragon now, which is going to be a really, really nice pickup for the team. And it looks like the next dragon is going to be an Elder Dragon.
And this is just, again, another problem that is starting to appear for Hydra. It's not just Benja making these mistakes around where the vision is and where it isn't. Everyone on the side of Hydra seem like they're not just thinking where the wards are gonna be. You see, Benja was backing in this bush, yeah.
Yeah, it's
unfortunate.
It's just bad. Like, he should be thinking a lot more about where these wards might be and where everything else is going on. Why he should be walking further back.
But look where he is now.
That Chimaera are going to go for this Baron. Hydra's Benja is
Can he redeem himself?
Could try and flash into the pit. There we go. The red team's actually going to get the Baron. The Benja is going to fall down, but trying to get a kill into Pompo. Benja falling down. The Baron going to Chimaera. They can look maybe to close out this game. They're ahead on gold by only a little bit. It's not much, but they've started to even out the objectives. The towers definitely heavily against their favor, but they're catching so many people out. Here again, we're seeing Spieler getting robbed again. We're going to see Records is there from the sideline as well, trying to do some damage. A slicing maelstrom coming through, but he's backing off from it though. The Godbagger is going to be taken down, and it's 2 kills now going down to the side of Hydra, jumping straight on to Pompo, who's trying to use the flag on drag and the flash to get away from that one. He has the GA anyway. He's trying to keep that GA safe, but there we go. He is going to fall down. He probably won't be able to be safe from this GA, but we see some Badger on drugs coming from the side.
Oh my lord.
Just to get him away for a little bit longer. We're going to see Records jumping in from the side, but he's going to get caught out really badly. A huge damage coming from Badger. Badger's looking for blood. He's looking for a kill onto Braveheart. The big shockwave is going to try and keep him away, but the Hivian's damage on Vayne now is unmatched, and a double kill is going to push him further into this late game. It's Vayne, 7 kills. He's going so far ahead. Going into this replay, we did see, Spiller getting caught out again. We've seen getting caught out a few times. We are going to see the TP and Wreckage there as well to try and follow it up. And you know what? They did well in this 3v4 to begin with.
Oh my lord.
They charmed the wrong direction. For Braveheart wasn't really that optimal for him. He did miss a slicing maelstrom, but they were able to turn it around in their favor really, really, really well. And Pompo trying to keep that GA alive, survived for a very, very long time, and the GA kept him just enough time for the flag and drag for him to be able to get away. Badger on drugs being there on the side as well with Hivian. They were able to turn around this fight so well. A pick onto Lucian, which was a key point for the fight. Badger on drugs then looking to go back over the wall, keeping himself out of the way of the vision for the side. The shockwave trying to keep him off, but Hivian doing a really nice flash to be able to get a kill onto Braveheart and then finish off Van Borgen.
And a really nice fight from the side of Chimaera, able to completely turn this game around. With this Baron buff, they're able to just move over to the bot lane. Drake isn't spawned just yet, so they're just trying to chunk this turret down as much as they can. Half HP gone on it already. They don't really have the most crisp of wave clears, but given that the only really safe wave clear on the side of Hydra is Orianna, who has magic damage, and the Baron buff minions kind of, nullifies that. Very nice that they can just easily push these minion waves in, and there is nothing really that, well, Hydra can do about it, as Badger on drugs is just pressuring these Nexus turrets, splitting the lines.
Badger on drugs is literally full build besides that last item, which is a compass anyway, so it's already a very high value item. And having the elixir as well is going to give him enough damage to be able to just solo push. He can probably 1v2 at this stage in the game as long as he gets a nice little charm during that. This Baron buff slowly pushing these towers. The cannon minions are going to be doing a lot nice. Maybe want to try to get that little conqueror hit proc, but then we go see Braveheart jumping with a slicing maelstrom. He's able to get a stun off, but Godlike is going to pop the zombie so we'll get away. Badger just getting everything to pick over for Braveheart. The Crescent Sweep is going to push 3 members of the Chimaera away, but Springsplit is going to fall down there. We're going to see another engage back onto Hivian, doing this massive amount of damage. That is 4 members down for the side of Hydra. Chimaera can literally look out to end out this game here. They didn't lose any members in the last fight. Godlike got very, very low. They've got these super minions in the mid lane. They've got the Baron buff, which actually the game has just ended, but it looks like that is going to be the game. Chimaera picking up a massive team fight just at the end there, and they're going to be able to take up this massive best of 3. Incredible plays from Chimaera, and a lot of poor decisions and poor decision making, poor places to base, and an awful positioning, I think, from the side of Hydra here, especially in Benja and Spheler.
And I feel like Hydra, they're going to be looking back at this game and they're going to be cursing themselves because there have been a lot of little individual mistakes that just kind of grouped together and cost them both of those lost games. However, I feel like the more prevalent problem was something that we saw in the mid game. It was apparent in all those games. Hydra didn't know how to play mid game. They were kind of running around like headless chickens. You can recall the part where they played with the Baron buff and they didn't really pressure any objectives. They were still trying to go for some picks. Now here we are going to be seeing the final team fight, and Rekits isn't in that. Rekits isn't actually in the fight as it begins. And so Benja will jump in here for a second. However, Hydra, they know that they have to go for something. They know that this fight is going to either win or lose them the game. So Braveheart engages, Rekits comes around with him. However, Badger is still on the side, can just easily charm Braveheart down, who I believe didn't have his Zonias up. And well, after that, it's just a team fight, easily won for Chimaera. They were able to just completely burst everyone down. Rekits unable to join the fray as Badger was just soloing him and Van Berksen out. And well, Hivian was still on the sideline with so much damage as this late game Vayne. Benja, the only member left standing, as Chimaera were able to just storm through the base of Hydra and then finish this third and the quickest game.
Yeah, you know, Chimaera, I think, definitely deserved that. They picked up after the first game so well. I think, you know, they ironed out a lot of the mistakes. They learned how to punish Hydra for their mistakes, which was really the key element into letting them win this last game and the game before this very, very well and very, very convincingly. However, that is going to draw it to the end of this best of 3 and the end of this stream today. I would like to have a massive, massive thanks to Joe Fix, which is our producer for today, for some incredible replay footage and incredible producing overall. And a big thanks to my co-caster Kerim here, who just did an incredible job of giving some issues out about what was, you know, going on with these teams behind the scenes, as well as what was going on in the game.
Oh, thank you for having me, Mr. Miwa, and make sure everyone to follow us everywhere. It's been 2.5 hours today, so a bit longer than we usually have it. Thank you for sticking with us today. Make sure that you join our Discord server as well. We have some fun things happening there quite often. We also have a Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube where we upload our VODs, and we also stream there. So next time, you can choose if you want to watch on Twitch or on any of those platforms. And well, as Miwa said, his name has been, well, Miwa. My name has been Karim, and we both wish you a very good night.